Welcome to Wilson's channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another podcast episode with Chat with Wilson featuring Helloemmie. Emmy, welcome in. What's up?
What is up, Chang gang?
Hey guys, this is episode 8. Thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're the live audience or if you guys are watching on YouTube. Just a heads up, there will be 2 commands for this podcast. The first one is !podcast. In short, it means this podcast is made to get to know my friends and just to like speak my mind on various things. It's honestly just a way for my friends to express themselves and to just to like have deep and meaningful conversations. And then we got !guest, which is a direct link to Emmy's Twitch channel. She is a streamer, so make sure to drop a follow and show some love.
Yeah.
All right. Again, thank you so much for being here. We're going to talk a lot about various topics, and then we're going to just have some back and forths. Guys, alerts will be offline, okay? Just a heads up. And if you have any questions for Emmy, just save it for the end. I got y'all. I'll try my best not to interrupt you, Emmy, from time to time, like if there's like a raid or anything. But yeah, let's just have fun with this. All right, let's start with simple little icebreakers before getting into anything else. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This should be a fun one. I asked Chill this.
Oh god.
All right, guys. So Emmy lives with a bunch of other friends at what we call the rave house. So Emmy, if you had to choose, okay, so imagine Chill, Will, and JB were all drowning, and you could only save one of them with like a life jacket. Who would you give it to and why?
Me, myself, and I. Those all 3 of them can drown.
Well, you're gonna live. You're safe no matter what, but you have an extra life jacket.
Out of all of them?
Yeah, the 3 of them.
Probably JB. He's the most reliable one out of all of them.
Oh,
okay,
shoot.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love Will.
Yeah, of course.
I love Hill. But now I'm gonna X them out really quick.
Okay. Dang. JB is like, he's 2-0 in this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Either that or I'll say Buns.
Oh, okay, that's fair. And we'll talk about buns too. All right, nice little icebreaker right there. So, Emmy, give us a brief introduction about yourself and who you are, and also list out 1 fun fact.
Damn, you give me the hardest questions right off the bat. I feel like I'm so bad at introducing myself sometimes.
Okay. I can help you if there's anything. Let's see.
Yeah. But hi guys, I'm Emmy. I am a small town girl living in a big world. All I do is work, really. Everything's always work related, and trying to find out who I am, discover who I am as a person. With little bumps on the way, but yeah, I'm living my best life, I guess.
Yeah,
We'll
well,
talk about it all later, but
for sure. What other things do you like to do?
sleep.
Real.
You know, ironically, I used to be an insomniac where you probably could tell that I degen like crazy before.
Uh-huh.
Could not sleep, suffered from insomnia since like I was 12. So I'm finally catching up on my sleep. So I'm either on TikTok reels, Instagram reels, or asleep.
Dang. Since you're 12? That's insane.
Yeah, I know, it's been a long time.
Other than that, yeah, gaming and streaming, right? And raving, right?
Yeah, sure. Streaming once there's a blue moon or a full moon now. That's what it's calling my name kind of situations. But yeah, I'll stream once in a while. But I feel like the lack of interest in gaming is what's stopping me from streaming often.
Oh, okay.
And you know how streaming takes up so much energy sometimes that I just don't have energy after work.
Yeah.
Long days, and I'm always doing overtime, so that doesn't help as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. That's very true. We're gonna deep dive into streaming very soon too, so no worries about that. Okay. So, would you say you're more of like an introvert or an extrovert?
I feel like it used to be extroverted, or it could be I'm more of like an omnivert. just because there's situations where I am more extrovert, but there's more times than others where I'm just introverted. I like the friends I have now. I like the group and the people I'm around. So it's like I don't want to put myself out there, but it's like I know I got to put myself out there. So I'm a little bit of both.
Hmm.
If that even makes sense.
It does. Do you feel like you're better at having one-on-one conversations like this, or do you thrive in like group settings?
Depending on the group, because like I'd say
Okay.
for example, like you and I, we're friends, but we haven't been like super close. We know
Hmm.
each other on like a level, whereas like with the housemates, I'm closer to them, so it's not easier for me to be in a group setting and then even talking to them one on one.
Yeah.
Whereas you can throw me in a group with a bunch of random people,
Hmm.
and I'll slowly make my way to talk to everybody. But if I don't really engage in that conversation, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just here.
Okay. So if you were like another example, if you were at like a party with like a bunch of people, who would you be at the party and where?
I'd be that kid in the corner. Like, is it time to go home yet? Not even joking.
Oh
No,
my
but it's always situational because it's like sometimes I'll put myself out there and be like, oh, I'm gonna get to know this person. Oh, I'm gonna get to know this person. Or if someone be like, oh, hey, this is my friend. Obviously I'm gonna talk a little bit more and get to know people a little bit more. But if I'm in a room full of people where I don't know anyone,
yeah.
or if I just know one person, I just tend to stick to that one person a little bit more because it's a comfort thing. It's always been a comfort thing.
Oh yeah, I 100% get that.
Yeah, where sometimes I wish I was like you and just throw yourself out there. But I'm
Sometimes,
just like,
okay.
I'm like,
No,
sometimes I feel like you throw yourself out there all the time.
like I try to. Like I feel like I'm in the same boat where I'm kind of forcing myself or I'm pushing myself too as I'm trying to like discover myself, like you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something I've always done. It's something that's relatively new within like the last few years, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, but since I've known you, I've always felt like you were that person who kind of threw himself out there.
Yeah, within the last few years, so that's what I mean.
But I
Yeah.
mean, that's how long I've known you.
No, exactly. Same for everyone on Twitch cuz I started like in 21.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, so we're going to start from the very beginnings, okay? Let me know what's significant about your childhood and what was it like growing up?
I mean, I feel like it's all very similar. Everyone has a similar experience growing up. It's kind of how you dealt with it, if that makes sense. Because
Mhm.
I grew up in an Asian household where um both parents constantly worked because we weren't rich. We didn't have money. So they were always working. I was left home with my brother and I had to take care of my brother.
Younger
If I
brother?
just like randomly turn, yeah. If I randomly turn, it's because Buns is on at my feet.
Okay.
But
Special guest.
special guest Buns. Um yeah, so my parents were always working and so it was just like me and my brother, my younger brother, 90% of the time. And they were hard on us. They weren't like one of those easygoing parents where they're like, "Oh no, like you go and do whatever you want," kind of stuff. No, we were forced into what like tutoring sessions, studying. We had to do they put us in martial arts for a little bit just to kill time. And then the thing is I had to grow up really fast. I started working when I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
While taking
It
care of
wasn't
your
like
brother.
it's not like working, but it's like under the table stuff, where it's I go out to their nail salons because they didn't speak much English. So I was like the receptionist, but also taking care of my brother at the same time and doing homework and whatever it was on top of
Mhm.
whatever I was doing. So it's not the happy go lucky childhood that everyone says, but in a way, I'm kind of thankful for it because it taught me the value of money at a young age.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah. Because, like, we didn't grow up with a lot. My parents came over to the States when I was 18 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we had like family and stuff, but we couldn't really rely on anyone because they had their own struggles. So my mom, my parents both hustled their butts off working at a nail salon under horrible management until they were finally where we were able to move to a different state where they worked for family for a long time. And then, we saved money as much as we can to where we are now, which is my parents own a salon.
Together.
Yeah,
Okay.
together. But it took us a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was a lot of challenges just being the oldest, as well as my dad's very traditional, so he he was the only male within his family that had a boy. So that pressure of my dad, or the pressure that my dad put on me and my brother, just because he's the only boy that had a boy, kind of tore a little bit of a rift between me and my dad
Since a young age, yeah.
since a young age. Yeah, and it's hard.
Wow. So before you continue, just a few
Hmm.
questions. So your family, they moved when you were very, very young.
Hmm.
What state did you start in, and where did you go after that?
So I'm originally from Vietnam. I was born in Vietnam. I was brought over to the States at 18 months, and we lived in Cali until a little bit after my brother was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to Denver, Colorado for 2, 3 years. And then we moved to New York for, I want to say, 4 or 5 years. And then we eventually settled back down in Cali because 80% of my family was in Cali at that time.
Oh. And this,
Yeah.
while you guys were moving through all these states, were they still working at the salon or like some sort of nail salon?
Yeah, because when you're coming from a different country, you don't really know English, so it was hard for them to get certain jobs without having some sort of English.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were later on in life. I believe my mom was in her 30s and my dad was in his upper 30s. So, picking up a language at that time is kind of hard. So my mom stuck to the nail salons where my dad ended up working a little bit more at the, what's it called? Factories a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they have different shift times. So my mom would be during the day and my dad would be overnight. And they did that for probably a good 9, 10 years, just so that there's always someone to take care of us. Because we didn't have money to splurge on a babysitter. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, we did have family around, but they're doing their own thing. They have their own kids to worry about, and they have their own careers, their own lives. They can't always babysit. So
Yeah, I
it
get
was
that.
working. Yeah, it was working for a while until my dad's shift times started to change a little bit. So we did have to get a babysitter for maybe like 2 or 3 hours, but that was still a good um hole in the wallet because they weren't making too much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was your relationship like with your brother through your childhood, and also your mom specifically? Because you mentioned that there was a rift between you and your dad because he was like more traditional.
Yeah. So me and my brother, we were like cats and dogs growing up where we hated each other.
Uh,
Like
okay.
I was always oh my god, like why do I have to take care of him? I just want to be a kid. I just want to go outside, hang out with my friends, do whatever I want, yada yada. But because I'm the older sister, because there is about a 3 year gap,
Mm-hmm.
I had to take care of him regardless because he was a troublemaker. We got in so much trouble when he was a kid because of him. And one of the reasons why we moved from New York to Cali, because he got in trouble by the cops twice. Twice.
What?
I'm not even joking. Like, do you think I get in trouble? He got in trouble more.
At what age?
Young. Like, I think I want to say like the first one was maybe when he was 5 or 6,
With, with the
and
cops at
then
5 or 6.
yeah,
Mm.
at 5 or 6, and then the next one was probably when he was like 8. Not even joking.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine what he must have done to get the cops' attention.
It I don't want to blame it fully on him as I'm older and we've talked back about it and we like reviewed what actually happened.
Uh huh.
We think it's because he was hanging out with this one kid on the block that was kind of like he wasn't in a gang, but he was a notorious like bad kid.
Yeah, the influence.
Yeah, so they keyed a car and they got caught.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Damn.
So like we're better now. We're like each other's best friends nowadays, but
Hmm.
before it was like cats and dogs where we were just constantly fighting. But my relationship with my mom is really good, but my relationship with has been rocky with my dad ever since we were young, and it only progressed and getting worse as I grew older
Uh huh.
because I became more stubborn, just like him. So I always jokingly tell him that I wonder where I get this from.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
guys living in the same area now? At
We
least?
live in the same area.
Okay.
I moved out back in 21, end of 21, hoping it would mend our relationship, but honestly, I don't know if it got better. There are some days where I feel like it got worse because my dad does have a drinking problem.
I see.
Uh,
And it's been like that since you were a kid.
it I it progressed worse after he got injured
Hmm.
at a it was some sort of reunion. He got injured and throughout his back he slipped a disc. And then ever since then it's been pretty bad. So he started drinking every night to one numb the pain, and now he uses it as an excuse to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we tried amending it. We tried fixing it, but I just feel like because he's so traditional or he's set in his own ways, like don't get me wrong, I want to keep the culture too. I want to keep like certain values, certain traditions, but I also want to adjust and change with the times. I feel like he's living back in where he wants things just to be like when he was growing up back in
Hmm.
Vietnam, but he's not realizing that, unfortunately, you are in a different country. The times are changing, everything is advancing, people are becoming, unfortunately, smarter. So things gotta change. And, he was open to it, but he's still set in his old traditional old school ways.
Yeah, like his actions. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of it is just I know it's like it's pretty simple, but at the same time it's not, because he wants to always eat together as a family, which like I don't mind. But sometimes I have a long work day, I'm not hungry, or I'm going out with my friends, and he sees that as oh, I don't want to eat with you,
Oh yeah,
and
he's offended by it.
he's offended by it. And there are times where he's wrong, and he won't admit he's wrong. So he'll tell me something along the lines of, "Oh, you're my daughter. You're supposed to respect me. You're supposed to agree with everything I say." So I take it back on him and I said, "You're always told me to call out when something is wrong. Doesn't matter who it is. If something is wrong, you call them out on it. So why doesn't that apply to you?" Yeah.
How does what's your mom's stance in all of this?
She doesn't try bothering arguing. She just kind of sits there and she does butt in a little bit, but my dad, he thinks he has power over her.
Hmm.
So she kind of just lets him talk in a way. And she's tried to fight him on certain things alongside with me. But at the same time, I know it's because of old Vietnamese values and traditions that she doesn't want to speak up against her husband.
Yeah.
And I told her, "Mom, you gotta beat the shit out of him." No, I'm kidding. Um, you gotta stand up for yourself. Like it, he's wrong. Regardless of what it is, he's no longer the breadwinner of this house. You are. So why are you letting him talk down on you like that?
Wow. So you've had like these adult conversations with her, and you still talk to your dad.
Yeah, regardless, it's like I love my parents regardless.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna me and my dad will always butt heads, but deep down, like he's still my dad. He brought me into this world, so I'm just gonna make sure he goes out with a bang at this point.
I see. So while you're living through your childhood, what was the school life like for you?
Oh, I was bullied as a kid because I lived in New York,
Yeah.
and I didn't live in the city per se. I went back and forth from the city to like more of the countryside, and I was one of maybe like I want to say 10 Asian kids at that school. And at that time, I didn't have a name change yet, so I went by my Vietnamese name, which is Knee,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like your kneecap. So all these kids would be like, "Oh, that's a knee slapper," and they thought it was okay to slap me because they think I'm their knee.
Oh my god, the fact that you
Not even
remember those
joking.
details.
Traumatized
Trauma,
me.
trauma, yeah.
Traumatized me. And that's why, like, eventually I got a name change because I was like, I'm sick and tired of all these people, all these kids using that as a joke and using that as an okay to hit me because they think it's a knee slapper.
How old were you when you decided to change your name?
I was middle school, 7th grade.
Oh, okay. So what was the process like, and did you like have to convince your parents or something?
No, because during that time, is when my parents got their citizenship.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was asked by the lady. She's like, "You can get your name changed if you want." And I looked at my parents with those like puppy eyes. I was like, "Can I get my name changed, please? I'll pay for it." And so they were asking me names, and the funny thing is, I wanted my name to be something unique, something that nobody had, but still like an American name ish.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was still, under 18, I couldn't fully make my own decisions. I had to give a list to my parents
Oh, okay.
of what I'm allowed to be called. And till this day, they still call me Emily. And I was like, you guys picked this name out of the list of names I gave you. And you still call me Emily? Hello?
Wait, so they agreed to Emmy, but they call you Emily.
Yeah, because I guess apparently Emmy is hard to pronounce for them.
Oh, I see.
Because sometimes they'll end up saying Amy,
Mm-hmm.
and then my dad just calls me Emily. And I think he does that to make me mad.
No effort. It's
No
just
effort.
Emily.
Yeah. But here's the thing I've always to ask. What made your parents decide to name you Wilson?
Ooh, that's a question I've asked, and I don't. The last story that I heard, because I think it changes from time to time, is that my dad had a friend named Wilson or something that he just wanted to name me after him. So I guess there's like a significant friendship. But then I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the case. I'm gonna ask again because me and my sister, we have like American names. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never had like a Vietnamese, Chinese name or anything.
Yeah, because I asked because I'm like, you don't really see much Wilsons within the Asian community.
True.
So that's why I was like, that's an interesting name for an Asian, unfortunately.
The funny thing is, I went to high school with two other Wilsons, and they were both Asian as well, and we all had the same class. So it was like pretty crazy.
Oh my god, that reminds me of my high school day. There was an
Like for
English
Emmy.
class. No, it was
Okay.
for a Kevin. In my English class, my sophomore year English class, there was 7 Kevins in that class, and
What the
six
heck?
of them, 6 of them were Kevin Wins.
Oh my god.
So she put them all in one corner and named them Kevin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, numbering's crazy.
Even on the Scantrons, Kevin number 1, Kevin number 2.
Uh huh.
because there were so many of them.
Jeez. Yeah, similar names. But so back to the story about how you got your name. So your parents accepted Emmy as your name, and then how did things proceed for you, like in school and everything? Or what was life like?
Well, I think I benefited from the fact that I moved from a different state to a different state at that time. So my old friends always referenced me as Nee, unfortunately. But then when I moved, I was able to introduce myself as Emmy.
Like,
But
did
the
you
thing is,
move in high
yeah,
school or?
I moved in the middle of 8th grade.
Okay.
Severe bowling. But I moved, but I still kept, when I got my name changed, I still kept my Vietnamese name, but I moved it to my middle name because I still wanted to keep it, even though it brought me so much trauma.
Yeah, it's part of your identity type of thing.
Yeah, and then the thing is, all my family calls me by it, so I'm just like, no, I'll still keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And that my Viet name was actually picked out by my grandpa, so that's why I kept it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was life like finishing through high school and then like even afterwards?
I think just because it was like a new place, new setting, like it's like a fresh restart.
Like we're
That
talking about
I
Cali, right?
Yeah, because
Okay,
8th grade is when I moved to Cali.
got it.
So it was like a fresh restart, but it was also kind of a cultural shock. Just because I went from schools that were, Asians were the minority to where I went to high school and there was 92% Asians. So it was a big ass cultural shock.
92.
92% Asian. And I think of 92% of those Asians were mainly all Viets.
So you
So
you fit right in, but you didn't because it was so new to you.
yeah, it was a big cultural shock because I was never surrounded by that many Asian people in general. I kind of grew up within like the whites and the blacks
Mm-hmm.
and the Hispanic community. So when I moved to a place where it was mainly, you know, Asian, I was like, I feel out of place, even though I am Asian. But high school went by so fast because it was like the new life. I didn't have to worry about anything, because when you're transitioning from elementary to middle school, you're kind of with the same people
Uh-huh.
ish, and then moving from one state to another, you're like, oh, I can start brand new. No one knows who I am. I have a new identity basically because of the name change. So I guess that's when I kind of came out of my shell a little bit more. Also because my counselor put me in theater class. I couldn't not decide on an elective, and she's like, "Here, take theater class. I think it'll bring you out of your shell and make you new friends. Just because you started 8th grade like with a couple months left, so here you go. Throw you in theater."
And then how'd that go?
It really brought me out of my shell. I used to be that one little shy kid in the corner to
Mm-hmm.
being the class clown in every class, and then you know found a brand new me because I did not know who I was because back in New York I just try to not get bullied, just trying to go through the day not getting picked on.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to Cali and having that weird cultural shock plus bringing me out of my shell, I believe, well, I want to say got more happier, but at the same time still struggled at home because of my dad.
Yeah.
Regardless.
That's a constant.
Yeah, no, it always goes back to him, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned just like shifting from a quiet kid to like the class clown. Would you say that was your high school reputation, or which kid were you like in high school?
I mean, I feel like I wasn't always a class clown because there are times where I was a little bit more serious, but I knew everyone. Everyone kind of knew of me, but didn't want to stay in that limelight, if that made sense. I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to have the normal high school experience where I go to school with my group of friends, get through my classes, be excited for fifth period because that was drama class or theater class, and then go home at the end of the day
Mm-hmm.
and then do whatever. But even after school, like it was always just me and my brother because my parents were always working. So it was a mile. It was about a mile walk home.
Mile walk home every day, and plus you're also like helping them, right? You're like working and stuff.
Yeah, whenever I got the chance to. I mean, my parents started relying less on me after we came to Cali, just because like they have a lot more, unfortunately, Vietnamese speakers, so they started relying less and less on me and my brother to translate things for them.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I was so used to making money that I was like, no, I gotta be doing something. I just can't be sitting at home playing video
Yeah,
games
you
all
gotta
day.
keep busy.
Gotta keep busy. And the thing is like, I didn't want to depend on them.
Yeah.
Like, they already have a lot on their plate. They're working horrendous hours. So I'm like, nah, I gotta make use of myself. Gotta make them
Mm-hmm.
proud. They wanted me to become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. But
Typical.
no.
Dang. Something to note. And before I get to that, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. By the way, Chat with Wilson, episode 8, featuring Emmie. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for stopping by to say hi and everything, and for the lurks too. I just want to say that it's pretty cool, like hearing your perspective about how you grew up, because I was in a very similar boat. Just
Mm-hmm.
just the part where I grew up in Florida, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the diversity was very similar to what you mentioned. It was like black, white, Latino, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then that transition. The funny thing is I also transitioned and moved from there to California in 8th grade. So we have like that same background where we weren't used to we weren't used to being around Asians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so had it like a fresh start. It's like hearing you is kind of like making me relive that, going back in the past, right? So I was a
Mm-hmm.
minority, getting bullied for random things, but then switching over was like a huge culture shock too. That is real.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Props to you though, because you still know your native language. I assume that you speak to your parents and stuff, right? So,
Yeah,
damn.
it's not a mandatory to speak Vietnamese at home.
Yeah.
Ironically, I got into my the fight that I got into with my dad
Hmm.
was about a language thing that ultimately caused me. That was like my final decision to move out.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
because it was just me and my brother having a conversation between ourselves, and we try to always speak Vietnamese around my parents so they can know what's going on or like what we're talking about too. But it was just me and my brother. We were talking about work related things. And my dad snapped at me and he goes, "This is the reason why your brother doesn't understand or can't speak Vietnamese really well. It's because you guys are always talking in English and then it's kind of like a slap in my face." And I was like, where did this come from?
Jeez. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he really thought we were talking shit on him when we were just talking about work related stuff. So it's like, where is this coming from? And he sometimes still blames me for how my brother for he blames me because I'm the oldest and that my brother looks up to me
Yeah.
for how he behaves. Yeah.
So
That
it sounds like you had a lot of like set expectations that weren't even like voiced to you. You were just like
yeah.
growing up and then just expected to do things, even with your brother.
Yeah, because my brother is the one that inherited everything from my grandpa because he was the only male born
Yeah.
from a son. So my dad put all this expectation on me being a good influence to my brother
Mm-hmm.
because he's inheriting everything, or at least 50% of what my grandpa owns.
Wow. Is how's he doing now?
I mean, he's not really in. He's not because he went to school to be an engineer.
Okay.
That was always his passion. I think he does all types of engineering. So he was always focused on that, and he didn't really understand the business or certain aspects of it. So what did he do? Because we were close, he gave me half, or he gave me co-signer privileges. So anything that he owns, I basically own as well.
Okay.
So what was the question again? I blanked.
No, like what is your brother up to now? Since
Uh,
like he had all those expectations on him, but and I know you mentioned that you're still pretty close to him.
mhm. Well, he makes the ultimate decision in the end with everything.
Yeah.
He's just kind of doing his own thing, whereas he lets me take on 90% of whatever family related stuff is needed. So, for example, my grandpa has this plot of land back in Vietnam. It's been sitting there for years, and we have no use for it, so we're wanting to sell it to make money, I guess. We have no use for it, so why are we going to be spending money to keep a piece of land that we're not using?
Yeah.
So, we decided to sell it. So, obviously, like I asked for pricing. I asked my connections back in Vietnam, like what's the best route, and obviously my brother is the one that makes this ultimate decision in the end. So he's just kind of there, but I'm the one that influences him to do certain things.
You're feeding the info.
Mm-hmm.
Research, yeah.
Yeah, because I went to school for business, international trade, business management, all types of business related stuff. So obviously he's gonna ask someone who he trusts that won't turn against him
Hmm.
for advice on what he should do, because he didn't go to school for that. Like, sure, he understands it, but sometimes he's like, I'm stuck between two places. What do I do? So I'll outline it for him, and then he can make the executive decision, or he'll give me the power of attorney.
Wow. So you guys got like a team going on right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been close ever since I want to say he started high school. So ever since then, we weren't like cats and dogs anymore. We're like two peas in a pod, or two dummies in a pod. One of the two.
Yeah, one way to put it. That's growth right there.
Yeah.
Maturity and growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because our fights back then were so bad to where we were hitting each other,
My god.
like actual
Yeah.
hitting, and we didn't even use the fact that we were sparring because we were both in taekwondo.
Uh-huh.
But we every time we fought, we were telling my parents, "Oh, we're just sparring." Nah, we were like beating each other's asses.
Going all out.
Mm-hmm. And then my parents just think we're sparring the entire time.
How did your parents handle like discipline and stuff, especially since your dad is like very traditional?
Oh, I got beat. My brother never did. That's the thing. My brother never got beat. He would get yelled at
Uh-huh.
and like have his stuff taken away. I was the one that got beat and my stuff taken away, and like almost publicly embarrassed
Just
in a
because you're
way,
the older one.
just because I'm the older one. I'm the one that's supposed to be setting an example.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
It might have been different if I was a boy, but unfortunately, because I was born a girl, it's a different story.
Yeah, you've been through quite a wild childhood. That's what it sounds like. Traditional parents, growing up quick, the older sibling that has to deal with all the deal with your brother too.
Hmm. Are you the oldest, or are you?
Yeah, yeah. I am,
So
but
you.
but
Hmm.
when it comes to family circumstances, my dad is very he's like traditional by the ways of like growing up, but not like
Hmm.
parenting. Except for
Oh.
that, his style is very different. I think it's more like like Americanized. He's very lenient and chill. It's also just like his personality. So,
Mm.
although I would say I grew up with different type of hardships, but not like that. Like not where
Yeah.
he would be strict and stuff. I think he was more strict towards my sister though, just because she's a girl. Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
kind of like all on me to like live my life. Kind of like what I'm doing now, so it's always been
Yeah.
pretty chill.
Yeah. My brother has the freedom to do whatever he wants, where I'm over here getting asked, "Oh, What'd you do today? Who are you with? What time you coming home?
Yeah, that I know so many people that go through that with their parents. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when you're out and you're just like answering the phone and you're just like, I
Oh,
could
I got to a
imagine,
point where I just blocked. I didn't
or
block them,
just
but I
don't
just turned
answer.
off my phone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I turned it off straight. I was like, I'm annoyed with this shit. I'm already with the people I text. So it's like I don't need to answer my phone.
Because it's the same conversation like every time with your parents.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
what
feel
time are you
that.
coming home? Oh, I'll be home by like midnight, maybe.
Or are you out all the time?
Oh, right. But the thing is, reverse psychology. Why you out all the time? Why you home all the time? Go out. Stop
Oh,
spending money.
true,
Do
true.
that.
Like you're lazy and stuff. Just all you
Yeah.
do is stay home.
Because like before obviously COVID,
Uh huh.
I used to never be at home. I would like refuse to go home sometimes, even though I had to because my bed's comfortable. But after COVID, I started staying at home so much that my parents were like, "Why don't you go out with your friends? You not have any friends anymore?" I'm lazy. I don't want to go out.
Damn, so harsh.
So it's like I can't win regardless of whether I go out a lot or if I don't.
Uh huh. But like you said, they're your parents and you always love them, right? So I get where you're coming
Unconditional
from.
love.
Yep. All right. So moving on though, speaking more so about your education, like how did you decide to, or what did you decide for college, and what was your college life like?
College wise?
Yeah, since you graduated high
Ah.
school in Cali, bam, college is next. What was on your mind?
Honestly, even from graduation all the way till community college. Well, I decided to go to community college because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you had all these expectations of like, oh, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to make good money, take care of you in the future. That kind of mumbo jumbo constantly in your ear. I was like, yeah, I still don't know what I wanted to do. So I dabbled in, criminal justice because I was into murder mysteries.
Nice. Okay, the influence right
So
there.
I dabbled into like criminal justice. I tried law, political, and I was like, I hate these idiots. No. Then I dabbled into a little bit of like biology, but then I was like, no, I'm too dumb for this. I can't do this. I can't remember anything. So then I dabbled into like you take those 101 classes or those 100 classes. That's an introduction
Yes.
to all of it, and I was like, yeah, no, nothing is sticking. So I decided just to do my basic uh GED,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also because I didn't have money for college, my parents apparently made too much at that time. I decided to just go to criminal or not criminal. I went to community college for 2 years, finished GED, and then took from 2014 to 2018 off. So 4 years,
Okay.
4 year gap to really understand myself and where I wanted to go. Because I didn't want to waste money on a higher education. Because one, no financial aid, and two, I don't want to be wasting time. But during those 4 years that I was working and traveling and stuff like that, I kind of just decided to go with business just because I just been doing it for so long
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, okay, I'm gonna take over parts of family business. There's a lot of investments being made within the household, within the extended family. So maybe that was just a better career path. Granted, I don't know if it's something still want to do for the rest of my life, but I got a master's in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a master in business marketing, management, and international trade. And I didn't finish that until this year, actually. I finished it back in December.
Dang, that is quite the history of like on and off at school. Congrats though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was also motivation because my mom was also told me, oh, if you get a master's degree, I'll give you whatever you want.
What does that mean? Like, what did you
Literally,
expect to give you?
I literally told her I don't want anything. I just want you guys to get off my back.
Oh,
That was the only
damn.
thing I wanted. Is to them to like get off my back.
I don't think that that's the case though, right? So,
Yeah, it's never gonna be the case. But now, I have bragging rights. So every time they say something, I'm like, I have a master's degree in this. You can't tell me otherwise.
uh-huh.
Nah, it's just bragging rights at this moment. At this point,
So, what was life like, your social life like when you were in college, like in and out? Were you just like very involved or kind of like just in and out of school and then home?
uh, I try to put myself out there during college too. I remember I joined VSA. I
Okay.
joined. I feel like everyone joins VSA at one point. Um, I try to put myself out there a little bit more just to make connections. Also because of the fact that I just didn't want to be home. I wanted to know what it was like to be cool, if that makes sense.
Ah, so you
I
said
wanted to
VSA.
know. So VSA was kind of like an introduction to it. So I remember joining it because I was asked to because they were trying to recruit people to join. And then it kind of blew up from there where I just made too many friends, if that makes sense. To the point where I was burning myself out by making way too many friends, going to too many social events.
Mm-hmm.
Like every social event that someone had, I'm there.
Nice.
So it burnt me
You
out.
were
It's
you were living.
like how you are now with Raise.
Bruh,
I
I
feel like
wasn't I was trying not to bring that up. That
we all
literally
knew
popped
that was
up in
going.
my head.
We all knew that was about to come up.
Ah, shoot, okay. Well, we'll talk more
No,
about
but
like that later.
it's a good thing though.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah. But the
putting yourself
burnout.
out there. But I eventually just got burnt out, and I was like, ah. But the thing is, like, school friends sometimes they become long lasting friends. Like I do have a couple friendships from college years or high school years that I'm still friends with today. Sure, we don't talk every single day,
Mm-hmm.
but when we catch up, when we, hang out, it's like we're back in high school or back in college. It has never changed. I know some of them have gotten married, had kids, ugh,
Yeah,
um,
different stages of life. Mm-hmm.
different stages of life. So it's nice to see. I mean, I'm still friends with a good number of them, but we're just not as close as
Yeah,
we
just
were.
living your own life, your own
Mm-hmm.
lives. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a relatable for sure.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that my 10-year high school reunion was back in 2022.
Oh, so you're class of 12 for
Yeah,
high
class of
school.
12.
Okay. Wow, you're so young.
I
Okay.
tried. Okay.
No, you're supposed to take it as a compliment. Okay, anyways.
We're Asians. We don't raisin.
I mean, there's that, but you're also still young. Come on now.
Yeah, true. I, just celebrated my 21st birthday for the ninth time. So,
Yeah, me too, but like 8 times. Okay. I like this. We can segue into friendships. I feel like that's super important. But before we
mm-hmm.
specifically talk about friendships as a whole, let's talk about something that we could relate to, which is Twitch, social media.
Mm-hmm.
A good gateway to that. All right, so what was the story like? How did you get into Twitch, and what has it been like for you thus far?
So, ironically, my first ever stream was back in 2014.
Jeez.
Yeah, 2014. I didn't do like it was nothing crazy. It was just when my brother kind of introduced me to League of Legends.
Uh
I
huh.
still hate them. I still hate him for that because it's League.
League, yeah. Damn.
Uh,
Part of our
but
lives.
it ruined my life. I'm kidding. But my brother introduced me back to League of Legends back in the day, and he goes, to learn instead of like just randomly pressing and smashing buttons, why don't you watch some of these streamers that are playing, and then to learn the game. So that's kind of how I got into Twitch a little bit because I started watching. I believe at the time I was trying to find a female to watch because I'm like, we relate a little bit more. So
Yeah.
ironically, my first Twitch streamer that I watched was Pokemon when she was still in her league phase.
Uh-huh.
So, um, so I watched her and I was like, you know what, this could be fun. Just talking to yourself, uh, while playing video games, something you're already doing. So I did my first stream back in I want to say 2014 after my brother assisted me in building my first PC, and I did it, but obviously at that time my mindset was a lot different where I cared about numbers. I cared about I'm like, okay, why am I not like I don't know nobody. My friends
Mm-hmm.
thought it was weird that I'm putting myself on the internet. They called me a cam girl.
Okay.
And that kind of deterred me from wanting to stream. So I took a huge ass break from it until I want to say 2018, where I was playing with a different friend of mine, actually an ex, and he's like, "Why don't you just stream? You're funny. Besides funny looking, but you're funny."
Uh-huh.
And so I started doing it here and there, but then I just kind of didn't want to because at the time I was like, I got no energy for this. I don't have the time for it. So I stopped it again until more so during COVID is where everything started to pick up a little bit again because I had time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Third
Plus,
time's a charm.
third time's the charm. Plus, at that time, I actually had more friends and more games I was interested in. So that's when and then obviously we had a lot of free time because we were stuck at home. So I threw out myself into streaming again, and a friend of mine introduced me to their friend circle. And I started playing games with them. Some of them were streamers. So we started playing and I started stream at the same time. They gave me tips and tricks and advice. And then eventually I started picking it up a little bit more because I had actually had time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it started going downhill where I stopped having time. Yeah, long history.
Is that
Long
where you're at
history.
today? That's what you're saying? Like you just have less time, so okay.
Yeah.
What was your gateway into like mutual communities? Like, do you remember how we met and everything, or like how everything happened?
I actually thought about that when I was taking a shower yesterday. Ironically.
Uh-huh.
I met you through Rec, Leona.
Oh shoot. Okay. So
Yeah,
so you
when
were in
she
like
was still
mutual
streaming.
communities with her.
No, because ironically, it was a time where I was still playing a lot of Valorant. I got
Okay.
into a random game, and I was solo queuing a lot at the time. I got into a random game,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just good vibes. Like, I forgot who she was playing with, but I heard another girl, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes! There's a girl in this game. I'm not gonna get picked on or
Uh-huh.
bullied for being bad." So I remember it was the day I just randomly decided to use in-game voice comms, and we were playing, I think unrated, and it was just a really fun random match. And then at the end, her friend plugged her stream,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I was like, okay, like I'll support a girl, I'll support people I don't know. So I went into her stream and I was like, oh hi, I was just in that game with you, blah blah blah, and then she invited me to play with her. So when she invited me to play with her, I obviously had to join her Discord, join her community. So I joined in, and then kept on tuning into her streams every time she streamed. And then I remember she put up like someone else's stream once, and then she rated you, and that's how I found you.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she rated you, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like come meet this like famous Wilson guy."
Oh no. Okay.
And so I remember just when I was joining in your stream, you were always like welcoming. Like everyone in your stream was welcoming. And so I just kept on coming back because I turned my noties on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, this is a fun environment. I want to be here. And then I believe it got to a point where um I just recognized certain names from your chat, and then we just started talking. Or I joined their community, I joined their streams, and we started talking. So honestly, I think all of my the big part of my Twitch circle came from after meeting you.
Damn. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was like what, back in 21, 2,
I'm gonna have to use
22.
this Helloemmie user.
Call your age.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. May 11th of 22.
Okay, so it was around that time. Yeah,
Oh, that makes sense. That's crazy
yeah,
though. What a throwback. I miss Leona.
yeah. I miss her.
Wow. So, okay, the funny story about Leona, it's kind of
Mhm.
similar to like this story. Okay. So I met Leona back then, and there's just a thing where sometimes you might not get close to people like right when you meet them, but just over time like something would happen,
Mhm.
right? So we were just like acquaintances, right? And then like it was probably like 4 or 5 months later, like somehow we just clicked and became like better friends. Like we played with each other and all that before she
Mhm.
retired and
Yeah.
everything. So like she never ever like called me famous Wilson or whatever until
Mhm.
the like we reconnected and everything. So I like understand the timeline of
Yeah.
like, yeah, when you were introduced to the community. But that's cool.
Yeah.
I recall like very like bits of like our first few interactions and stuff.
Mhm.
Who were you close to within our like mutual community? Do you know who like you connect
Oh,
with at first?
honestly, no. I don't remember. I think I just started talking inside your chat,
Mm-hmm.
and then because we have the whole like go support this person command, the shout out commands and stuff like that. So I remember just clicking on a lot of them. Cause I'm like, friends are friends. Obviously, I want to support, whether regardless if it's a lurk or if it's anything like that.
Yeah.
So I lurked on some streams, and then obviously I'm like, hi, like I'm here to lurk, whatever, stuff like that. And I remember it was probably Mango.
Mango unavailable.
Yeah, I think it was her because she was going through something, and we ended up in a voice call with each other
Mm-hmm.
that lasted until like 7 a.m. And I remember people were just coming in and out, and that's how I like was introduced to a lot. And I remember Hein was in there.
So cool.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I think Bandy was in there at one point. I don't remember honestly, but it's like I knew of these people. I just never met them. And then finding out that they live close, I'm like, the fuck?
That's
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, Hein
But I
remembers it.
honestly didn't not meet Twitch people until that one summer you came down and we went to um Boba.
Wait, this was after you moved?
Yeah, it was in 22, I want to say.
Wait, so we had a meetup after you moved in with like everyone, like
No, no, no. This was my first time moving out. So when I was still in the apartment back in Chino. So I remember you were here for something in the summer. It was like summer. You were here with Annie. And then we
oh,
went to
Summerfield?
yeah,
That's
Summerfield.
what Hein's saying.
That was like the first time I actually met a lot of people IRL, if not
Oh.
everyone IRL.
With this, you're talking about like so the swings and everything. Like you came through.
Mhm. Because I remember you posted a Twitter saying like, "Oh, we're gonna go get boba if you want to meet up. Here's like DM me or like this for location and stuff like that. And I remember
Uh-huh.
I liked it, and you sent me the location. And then when I got there, the only person I really you told me to look for Hein, but the thing is, I don't know what Hein looked like yet.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to remember. Yeah.
So I was like, and then I walked there, and I remember I was listening for a certain voice. That's all I remember because Hein used his VTuber at the time.
Yeah. You're right. You're
So
right.
I was listening for a certain voice, and that's literally the first time I met everybody in your Twitch circle IRL. Even though I've hung out on their streams
Uh-huh.
or whatnot, it was the first time meeting everyone IRL.
Do you recall if I was vlogging too?
You were
Okay.
vlogging.
Okay, then I know exactly which moment you're talking about. There was
Yeah, it
hella
was that
people
one.
that came through.
Yeah, there was a lot
It
of
was
people
late,
that came
yeah.
through. Yeah.
Wait, oh, and then I did the intro thing, right? Was that the one? The friends intro?
Yeah, that intro.
That's so crazy. Man, I totally forgot that was like the first time meeting you, like in person.
Yeah.
All the memories when I watched that vlog again. All right.
Honestly, I remember because I remember my social anxiety driving there was so bad.
You're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna meet these
I was like,
people.
oh shit. I was like, but the thing is, like, I knew of them. I knew most of them because
Yeah.
I lurked in their stream, but I'm not close to them. Do I really know them? So I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh my god, like what am I doing here? But I want to go make friends. I want to meet new people.
So how did that whole experience, just like meeting up with a Twitch streamer homies, like change your life? Like, what do you think?
I mean, I live with three Twitch people. That's how much my life has changed.
Hmm.
Met some of the, like, I want to say really one of my best, couple of my best friends from it.
That's
It's
awesome.
I got to the point in my life where I was kind of like sheltering. I was resorting back to my old ways where I just kind of kept to myself and stuff like that. But after like meeting Twitch people,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like these people. They're nice.
And they're in the area, some of them.
They're in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's wild to think that, the friends that you've made online through a platform and now you're seeing them almost every month, Wilson.
Yeah. True. It's eye-opening, life-changing. It's
Mhm.
just another way like to meet people, especially when you might feel stuck, like set on a job and just like out of school, right?
Yeah.
Dang, man, I love that. And guys, thank you for being here, by the way. Appreciate y'all. Hello. Okay, do you want to talk about how you made the decision to move into the house with all the homies? What's the story behind that? Like, talk about the first thought of it, and then when like everything just started, you know, taking place, like in motion.
Okay. So I remember. Well, the thing is like I remember drama was happening at my old house. Within a couple of months that my lease was gonna end, and obviously living in California is ungodly expensive regardless.
Yeah.
And me and my ex best friend at that time,
Okay.
uh, we were kind of looking into more people to live with, and we're like, oh, like we kind of want more roommates to help the cost. So I remember I was hanging out with Mommy and
Mm-hmm.
his stream, and he was talking about wanting to move back to Cali when he was still in Hawaii. So off stream, I asked, or we were just talking about it, and I was like, "Hey, you be down to move?" Because also during that time, JB and I were still dating, so obviously he was gonna move down because he wanted to be in SoCal because he said his life up in NorCal was miserable. So he wanted to come down. So okay, we have
Yeah.
three. And then somehow in the conversation between me and Umami, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm wanting to move back to Cali." But his condition was that Till would have to move in too. So I was like, "Okay, so there's five. So we're gonna have to get a house."
Oh wow,
And
he
I'm
made
like,
that a condition.
kind of a condition, yeah,
Interesting.
because of Chill's situation at that time. And the thing is, I wasn't really close with Chill at that time. Like I would lurk in the streams, and I would like, and I mm, and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
he'll come and hang out in BC.
So you didn't know him, basically, is what you're saying,
I didn't
like
really,
that.
I didn't know too much of him.
Yeah.
I only heard of him from someone else's perspective.
Okay, I think I know who. Got it.
Exactly.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So from someone else's perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm like, I don't care. It'll make the cost of living cheaper, and I think it would be fun to live in a streamer house because you kind of see it. You know, you see like offline TV, you see like these other people trying to put together a streamer house, and I was like, oh no, that'd be fun because we can mess with each other on each other's streams.
Yes.
So I thought it was gonna be fun. So I was like, you know, let's look for a house together. So unfortunately, like nobody was really here besides me and my ex best friend. So I was like, okay, I'll do the house hunting. I'll tell you guys how much it is. I'll send you pictures. And it came so close to when my lease was ending. We also did not get this place until the Friday before my lease was up, and my lease was up, I believe, on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, that
It
is
was
super
cutting it
close. Yeah.
really close. But we were able to get this place, and I was like, you know, let's set everything in action. I want to live in a house full of streamers. I want to have that friendship that, you know, these other communities have seen success in. So I was like, you know, this could be fun.
Yeah.
And plus, this time it would be actually with people I knew instead of people I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna make rent cheaper. I'm not complaining at this point. And that's how the streamer house originated.
Okay, so from that start, like after you guys all transitioned, what was life really like? Expectations versus reality up until today? Because I know there's like some changes, and apparently you guys stopped streaming, all that. What was it like?
Oh, obviously, we all kind of know the downside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was good at first. I mean, but you know, everyone was trying to settle into their new life
Yeah.
here at the house. So there was a lot of back and forth. You know, this house being older, it's not like the modern 21st century house. It's a little on the older side. So there were some technical issues as well as noise issues, and then everyone just getting adjusted to each other. So, you know, Chill moved from a different state. So he was trying to find a job, he was trying to do all this, but he also took a lot of time to himself, you know, going out all the time, never home, living his best life.
Yeah.
Um Mommy didn't come until I want to say like February or March. And he was streaming all the goddamn time. That's all he ever did.
Yes. The opposite.
The opposite. Um, I had to start going back into office, and my job requires me to drive anywhere from 25 to 35 miles sometimes. So time consuming and also tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was kind of like, you know, we all thought we were gonna streams and mess around in each other's streams, but honestly, only one person ever really streamed.
Real. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I think, you know, you could be good friends on the outside, like outside of your home, but when you live with someone, you kind of see certain sides to people that you don't really see on stream or when you're hanging out with them.
Facts.
So you start to see the bad habits. You start to see certain things that you kind of knew of this person, but you didn't really think it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of changes has happened. William now lives here,
Mm-hmm.
and ironically, you know how they call a lot of streamer houses screamer houses? That's still very true. These bitches are always yelling.
Like gamers and stuff.
Games, games, or just having conversations in the kitchen,
Uh,
everything. Like you hear it all. Especially when you're in my room, you hear it all.
yeah.
Hmm
How are you liking your room, anyways?
I like it because of the size. I
Uh
have
huh.
never had this big of a room in general.
Yeah.
So I like my room, but the downside of it is that it's kind of noisy because it's right by the door in the kitchen
Exactly.
and the garage, and the fact that I have no door.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna complain because I have the biggest room. So,
Okay. Yeah. What's up?
oh, and here's the thing too. This room holds temperature really well. So if we have the AC or the heat going on, it's like either the North Pole or Africa in here. It's either really hot or really cold.
Oh my god. I would suffer.
It's not a bad thing though, because once the AC is on, my room it gets the coldest.
Okay.
So I'm not complaining. But whenever they turn on the heater, my room turns into a furnace.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining because of the sizing.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since you've lived with everyone now, right? It's been over a year for sure.
Yeah, this is the second year going.
What's it looking like for the long run living here?
Long run wise,
Yeah.
it honestly is gonna come down to how much money I want to save.
Oh, so it's ultimately
Yeah,
up to you.
yeah. It's well, the thing is like the landlord, he's super nice. Where sure we signed a yearly contract, but that's just for papers
Papers,
and
yeah.
legality reasons. But he literally said you guys can go anytime you want. Like you have no it's up to you.
Okay.
Um, for me, I think I want to stay here at least another year just
Mm-hmm.
so I can save money. But I also kind of have plans where I want to get onto the international side of my job and start traveling to different countries.
Oh wow.
So I kind of am thinking about when I get to that point, I just need a home base.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of waiting on. I'm playing a waiting game with my brother too because he wants to buy a house. So I told him I'll help him cover mortgage and everything as long as I have a home base I can return to when I'm not traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this house is gonna be here for a while. So don't worry, Wilson. You'll always have a place to stay when you're in SoCal.
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about you guys. Like, because I know the dynamic could definitely change, especially if you guys move out and do your own things. Especially if
Yeah.
you're not like streaming and stuff as much.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
I still think this house is gonna be here. Like the five of us might be here for a while.
Nice. Okay.
Or at least until like everyone gets back up on their own feet or they want to grow
Yeah.
and spread their wings. It's
By all
that's
means.
there for them to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine like the many pros and cons of living with friends. I'm glad everything is working out right now.
Oh, PSA for everybody: if if you're a girl and living with four boys, it's gonna be messy.
Hey, call him out. Call him out.
I'm calling you out right now. I'm calling you out right now. Clean up
Uh,
your shit.
say names. Say names. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyways, we
Oh,
know.
they know who they are. They know who they are.
Clean your shit, guys.
Clean your shit.
Man. Okay. So that's what it's like living with friends and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few more things I want to cover specifically on the Twitch side before we continue
Yeah.
with the friends. So back on Twitch. So you mentioned like back then you were very focused on numbers and everything. Moving forward, you gave it a shot, and now you're streaming like just randomly here and there.
Mm.
So what are your thoughts about it like right now since you're just streaming just whenever you can? Like what are your thoughts about like the community or how it's changed for you and like what are you streaming exactly?
Nowadays I just kind of do it for fun, or I'm just trying to keep certain memories. Because I've always had a good time. Like every stream I've had, whether regardless if it's Valorant, unfortunately, or
Uh-huh.
whatever game I'm playing, I just want to capture some of these memories that I'm having with my friends, whether we're joking around, we're messing around, or we're having these serious conversations, serious talks, whatever it might be. It's something I can look back on. Because, with these VODs that we can download and keep, it's nice to have these certain memories. Because I remember before I was always focused on numbers because I wanted to be that popular kid.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you kind of grow up and you mature and you're like, these numbers don't matter to me because sometimes numbers give you fake friends and I don't want that. So I'd rather
Yeah,
have these true, genuine friends who are actually here for me than to, I don't know, network within trying to get somewhere and all
facts.
the stuff like that. Buns, you're biting my toes.
Good old buns.
Yeah, buns. Stop biting my toes.
So how active are you like on other social media platforms?
Oh, I live on Instagram Reels and TikToks. I'm not
Okay,
gonna lie about that. I'm
but you
always
don't
on
you don't
there.
post like you just
Mm,
on.
I'm honestly just on,
Hmm.
watching a lot of stuff because sometimes I have free time at work
Yeah.
and I need to kill time, so I'm watching, or it's like I jump into bed and just need something to make me sleepy, so that's what I watch.
Okay, relatable.
But I don't really post a lot. I just kind of am there. Sometimes I'll find something funny or something I want to post. I'll post it, but honestly, don't really post a lot. Buns,
And
you little shitter.
how about as like a viewer, are you like do you find yourself like in chats often nowadays?
It kind of depends. Like, I lurk a lot more.
Hmm.
I think all of us just end up lurking a lot more because we'll have it on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll lurk, and if uh something's going on, I'll pop in and say hi, or like, hi, I'm here lurking. Bye.
So it's mostly just like for friends. You watch friends more so than big streamers.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I will sometimes watch like, VCT or
Hmm.
when Apex is playing or when League has their championships or whatever going on. I'll
Yeah.
watch some of that, but I just end up watching Friends a lot more because I think it's funnier. Because, you could be shitting on them, be like, oh my god, you're playing so bad. Who are you?
Huh.
Rather than watching these big streamers and you're not really building a connection. I think about, you know, building the connection more than supporting big streamers who already have connections.
Got it. Got it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I could grasp like what your intentions are with like streaming and just like moving forward in the future. So I
Hmm.
see that. Just wrapping things up with streaming though, at least,
Hmm.
what do you think is like how would you compare the public perception of who you are? So like when people watch you on streams and stuff versus how you are in person. Do you feel like there's a difference?
Mm, a little bit. I think a lot of people, because obviously when you're streaming to your friends or, well, my family also watches some of my streams. You're kind of putting on. Well, for me, I put on more of a happier side.
Like
I
higher
don't want
energy
to.
too?
Yeah, higher energy, happier side. I don't want to show people the things I'm dealing with on the side or in my own personal life.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm pretty open about the struggles that I deal with. So, in a way, I still think I'm the same
Hmm.
regardless, but there's also some things I hide, but not really hide, if that makes
Got it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then aside from streaming, are you like still in Discord calls, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah, I'm honestly still in a Discord called Nightly.
Oh, okay.
I still like hanging out with people on Discord. Sometimes I'm just chilling in my own
Hmm.
in one of those AFK study channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And after some time, I just get off because I'm like, nope, it's bedtime. I force myself to go to sleep.
I'm curious. So, among our mutuals, who are you still kind of in contact with, or who do you talk to pretty often?
I feel like I'm gonna call out some names right now.
Wait, that's a good
Uh,
thing though if you're in contact with them.
uh, see, I have this really bad habit of reaching out. Um, Sometimes I'm usually the one that's kind of waiting for people to reach out, which is pretty bad. I know it's pretty bad.
Uh huh.
But I still talk to like I talked a lot with to Mish. I see Saber like every once in a while because he's always at my house.
Damn, you
Uh,
sound annoyed when you said that.
I'm just kidding. It's because that's how I treat Saber.
Okay.
Um, Eileen's over pretty often, so I see her, but she didn't really start off in the Twitch community, but I count
True.
her now.
Yeah, yeah.
I talk to Cherry pretty often. Talk to Hyde once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's other people like uh my stepbro GB Elemental P.
Joe. Okay.
I love him.
Love him too.
This is like it's like random, honestly. It's like I
Just here and there.
just here and there.
Okay.
I I check up on them, see what they're doing, or if I'm reaching out when I need something. And yes, I call Saber the B word every time he walks in my house.
Out of love.
Yeah, completely out of love.
Yeah, so about friendships though, what do you specifically value and what does it take to be close to you?
And honestly, it doesn't take much. I kind of consider almost everyone a friend
Mm-hmm.
if we're able just to get along, connect. Even like some of my coworkers, I call them my friends. But honestly, I don't think like it takes much. Like you can literally sit there and I'll sit there and listen to all your problems. I'll still consider you my friend
Yeah.
because you're able to open up and tell me certain things that you might be struggling with, or you just want someone to listen. That's why, like at work, I have an open door policy because my door is always open unless I'm in a Zoom meeting or a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
so that um I I'm just always there. I try to be,
Yeah.
but I honestly don't think it takes much effort to even put a friend label on people with me.
Is that different to be close though?
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, I think a little bit more, but not honestly much. It's just because if I can have a conversation with you where we can talk about certain subjects and you won't judge me for who I am, then I consider that as a close friend. So,
Okay.
know, I remember when me and Cherry first talked,
Mm-hmm.
we easily opened up to each other, and that's why I've always considered her close. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know her IRL. I have never met her in person, but the fact that she opened up to me and talked to me about certain things, I was able to open up to her and talk about certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we just became close.
Yeah,
There's
showing
obviously
vulnerability. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and there's obviously some people where you kind of put a distance at, but you still consider them a friend. I'm like, you're still my friend, but I consider you more of a low maintenance friend.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Would you say you're a low maintenance friend?
No,
Okay.
because I feel like I'm so needy sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, no, I'm not low maintenance.
So
Love me, I'm needy.
if you're like needy as a friend, would you say like although you have all these friends and stuff, like do
Mm.
you ever still feel lonely?
Oh, all the time. It was a conversation I actually just recently had with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling her that I feel lonely. I feel like I have nobody. And she goes, "You have like a million friends. What do you mean
Yeah.
you're lonely?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's like, sure, I have all these people I can reach out to, all these people I can talk to. But my mindset is always, I'm bothering them. I That's why parts of me hates reaching out is because
Mm-hmm.
always have the irrational fear that I'm bothering somebody.
Yeah.
Even at work, even when I reach out to one of the managers and I'm like, "Hey, sorry to bother." That's always my first thing. And granted, nobody's ever says you're bothering me, but it's that irrational fear that I have in the back of my mind
Mm-hmm.
that causes that, and it constantly always makes me feel lonely, especially when you're at home, like about to go to bed or whatnot, or you're scrolling through socials and you're seeing all these friends who are out, and you're like,
Yeah.
I wish that was me. I wish I was out there, but I
Real.
also choose to stay in bed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, even though you can have millions of people around you, you can still feel lonely.
No, that's 100% true. Like I totally understand that. So yeah, it's right
Yeah.
to like check on your friends sometimes. I feel like it's also sometimes when you just feel lonely, like even if you've been out and about, right? Like there are
Mhm.
just random moments where you could just feel really lonely and you just don't have the will to like even want to reach
Mhm.
out or to do anything at all. You just kind of like let it sink in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you think you've been coping with that at least?
Not well, honestly.
No.
Because I am pretty sure a lot of people know my biggest struggle will always be my mental.
Hmm.
Um, it gets really bad to the point where have thought about Xing myself out of the world, like taking my exit. I'm not afraid that I attempted it twice, you know.
Hmm.
So my loneliness gets to the best of me, where sometimes I want to be surrounded by people, but certain people only, because whether they make me feel a certain way or give me that attention or whatever that I need. But ultimately, in the end, everybody has to go home at one point. I can't be with them 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to deal with loneliness, but also being comfortable being alone.
Hmm.
So I've gotten to a point where I'm okay being alone. Like I'm like, I always have my friends. They can't be around me or there for me 24/7 because they have their own life. So it's more so like I'm just trying to cope with being alone, trying to find hobbies, trying to find stuff to do that kind of distracts me from thinking that way. But it doesn't always work.
Hmm. Very true.
Hmm.
I feel like everyone experiences it differently for sure,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
so like for me, I feel like even hopping on a stream is one, it's very difficult. Like sometimes it's
Hmm.
so difficult to even start. But then once I do, I'm just like happy because it like reminds me that there are people, just
Yeah.
like willing to just be there to chat with you and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's a hit or miss with that aspect when you actually push the button and just like go live.
Yeah. I mean, that's my struggle too. Sometimes like I do want to stream, but I struggle with hitting the live button because I'm like, uh, I'm having one of those thoughts like no one's here, or
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I'm just gonna be talking to myself again. So it's really that kind of thing.
Yeah. 100%. And guys, thanks for being here by the way. Cozy is back. It's been so long since I've seen Cozy and he comes in
I
and
haven't
calls me a
seen
fuck boy.
Cozy in.
This guy. I
Cozy's
can
not a fuckboy. He's an AVP. Get your shit straight.
Oh my god. Wow. And then JB's here too. What's up, JB?
Thanks for the hot Cheetos.
Oh, real one, real one.
Hmm.
Leslie, thank you guys for being here. It means a lot. So, yeah, I appreciate you for being open about that, like your mental
Yeah.
health. I think that's super important. There's so many like conversations we could have about it back and forth between like
Hmm.
friendships and everything. I do want to go back to friendships though.
Hmm.
You've had like I could tell you've had your fallouts with people, right?
Yeah.
What like icks have you had with friendships in the past, and what do you think those? How did you fall out of these relationships?
Uh, it honestly comes down to wanting the best for someone and controlling someone's life.
Okay.
Um, I've had friends, quote unquote friends, who try to more so dictate my life than than encourage me to do certain things. I'm not gonna drop names, but there's
Okay.
one specific person recently who, you know, she's gone through all these experiences in her own life, and sometimes I feel like you need to go through them yourself personally to develop yourself as a character. And I get that she was trying to save me from heartache, hardships, and stuff like that, but she was trying to dictate my every move. And I didn't want that. I wanted to live, if I have to go through some hardships, I'll go through them myself to learn, to really learn. Yeah, it might suck, but I rather take that experience head on
Mm-hmm.
than think of the what ifs. Because not all things might turn out the experience that she had.
Yeah.
So she was trying to dictate certain moves I make in life, as well as, you know, the older we get, certain priorities become different. For me, I've always valued family will always be my number one priority regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we were living in the same house, I see her every day. But the two times I bailed out on her for family reasons, she took it as I didn't value our friendship. And it's like, did you not, I'm sorry, but did you not know me as a person to say this? Are you trying, like, what are you trying to do? So ultimately, it comes down to whether you're trying to dictate it or you're trying to influence it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we've all gone through friendship breakups, unfortunately, as much as they suck.
Yeah.
There's some friendship that just not really fall out, but they just grew old and past its time where you kind of become distant. And there's some friendships that are toxic. And
Real.
a certain someone told me I needed to rid myself of the toxic things in my life for my life to grow and move forward. JB.
Name drop. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, even with 5 years of friendship, it's stuff that like I have ignored. I kind of put up with, and then ultimately in the end, I was like, no, I don't want to live this way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make the mistakes. Let me make those mistakes. That's how I
Yeah.
learn. Because that's how, honestly, how some people learn.
Ooh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, getting real about that. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you've gone through other like breakups like that when it comes to friendships? Or that one's really recent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's tough.
the other ones are just over time,
Yeah.
different priorities. Um, a lot of my old friends, we just kind of grew up and we went two different directions. I have one of my high school best friends. She has a family now, so obviously she's focused on creating whatever she needs to for her family. She's got to do things for her family.
Yeah.
But my other friend, she's in pharmacy school. She's going to be a pharmacist, so
Mm-hmm.
she's more focused on her thing. So it's not really like a fallout. It was just more so as time goes on, we just go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
Feel
I
that.
could look sit here and talk about it forever, but honestly, it just comes down to uh becoming distant with each other. Not really distant, but we just kind of grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always want the best for them if they want to come back. If we ever want to reconnect, like I'm open to it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna like deny it. But obviously there's gonna be a lot of changes.
Mm.
Because we're
Yeah.
never gonna be close as we were before, but we could be, but that's if either of us have the time.
True. And friendships can always just like evolve anyways or change.
Mhm. And it
Uh,
sucks to say that sometimes when you make new friends, the older ones get left behind.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, different phases in life, and it's like if you go on your own path, you just meet other people, and then they're just like aligned with what you're doing,
Yeah.
same
I
path and
mean,
everything.
yeah, I mean, it's nice if it all could somehow mesh together, but
Hmm.
obviously different personalities,
Yeah,
not always gonna work out.
that is like so relatable in like all types of friendships. Kind of like bringing it back to the Twitch world.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen many fallouts,
Oh
so
yeah.
many fallouts among like Twitch friends and stuff, right? Like, you know me,
Unfortunately.
I like meeting people, and then it's cool to like bring people together and stuff, but I definitely have seen like a fair share of people just not get along, and like a divide and everything. So with that
Yeah.
being said, for you, I guess it's more so towards streaming again, like Twitch. Who do you feel
Yeah.
like you connect more with? Like, what type of streamers or people?
That's hard to say because I feel like
Hmm.
it's easy to connect with everyone on different levels, whether it's you went through the same trauma together, how you grew up together, or how you grew up, friendships, relationships. So different aspects of life. I totally forgot where I was going. I blanked. Brain fog. Old people brain fog.
Do you feel like you're more connected to Valorant streamers at least,
Uh,
or
I
you're
want to say
within that
no.
community?
I want to say no just because I have been off Valorant for so long.
Hmm.
But it's now more so like I connect with friends of friends, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, say, for example, at the end of the night, obviously you raid off or people raid off, and then I just join in on their chat and I hang out and I feel the vibe. I'm like, I like this vibe. Maybe we can be friends.
Okay.
So, grab
It's understandable. All right. Let's
Mm-hmm.
transition right here. All right, this is going to be a very important question.
Should I be scared?
No, no, no. All right. How much Riz do you have?
Riz?
Mhm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 3?
Damn.
I really don't think I have that much Riz. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's the girls. Maybe it's the ladies'
Spoken
Riz.
and
But
unspoken.
I think I have more Riz with the ladies than I do the
Okay.
guys. Let's put it that way.
Okay, let's rate it 1 through 10 spoken Riz and unspoken Riz.
Spoken Riz maybe like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Unspoken Riz probably a none.
Damn, okay. So we're gonna just segue into relationships, whatever you're down to talk about, of course, is at your level of comfort, right?
Yeah.
Let's start off with what are your dating preferences? Like, what do you look for in a person, physically and personality?
Unfortunately, I have always only been attracted to Asian guys.
Hmm.
So sorry. Anyone else? Like, no offense to anything. It comes down to culture.
Okay.
It really comes down to culture. It's because, you know, honestly, almost every guy I've dated has been Vietnamese.
Hmm.
So it was more so like the thing is because I'm so close with my mom and a lot of people in my family, I want to, or in my grandma when she was still alive, I've always wanted someone who can build a connection with my mom, certain members of my family, because they're that important to me. So it was more so I hope that it was someone who could speak the language before, like this is before,
Hmm.
someone who could speak the language, or know of the language, like can hear, listen to it, and then be able to answer. Maybe it's not in perfect Vietnamese or Vietnamese at all, but they can listen and understand. And
Yeah.
it also came back to certain dynamics within the culture that I want to preserve and keep. Like for example, I speak, read, and write fluent Vietnamese. I want to be able to pass it on to my child if I were to have one in the future somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a little bit harder if it was a different ethnicity. So I went kind of wanted the easy route of a big guy to do that. But now I'm at a point where I don't really care. I just want someone to treat me with value and respect. Understand that I have, good days, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of bad days, and can understand that, I've dealt with a lot of struggles in my life. I dealt with, cheating, um, being put down, being told I will never uh be anyone. So I want someone who will value me and respect me as a human and love me unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want. But also someone who'll kind of bring out that inner child that I never really got to unfortunately enjoy. So that's what I'm looking for, but I'm also at a point where I don't really want to even try or even look for a relationship anymore just because of recent
Oh
um
no.
experiences.
Okay, so you're not actively looking, but you're hoping maybe that'll come to you instead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just because like, you think you found your person and you convince yourself, not really convince yourself, but you have every reason to think this person is your person, but they don't want to commit or whatever their reasoning is. And
Yeah.
I thought about all of the possible reasons of why, but I can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at a point where it's like, do I want to stay in this toxic environment and keep putting myself down where I know my value and my worth? Or do I just continue moving on even though you found your person? That's the hard part.
Okay. So what is your dating history like? If you want to talk about it, like talk about
Yeah.
like who you got or like how it happened and what went wrong, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I'll start off with what went wrong because that kind of puts into a perspective of a lot of things. Um,
Wait, are you starting with the
un-
first one or where were you starting from?
yeah, I'll start with the first one
Okay.
because it's all kind of similar in certain aspects. The first one was a secret relationship of 6 years.
Oh, okay. And can we also get
Yeah,
timelines?
yeah.
All right.
I don't even know this timeline. It was like so early on. It was with my best, my friends. No, not my friends. My parents' best friend's son.
Wow.
Um, we kind of were always around each other because they're best friends. They saw each other all the time. We basically almost lived across the street from each other, and we were always interested, but we always thought it was a weird boundary to cross. But we're like, fuck it all, we're gonna do it. So
Mm-hmm.
we got together secretly. Obviously, we didn't want our parents to know, but we also used that as an excuse to hang out a lot because they're like, oh no, they're just really good friends, blah blah blah. So we were basically always together. Um, but unfortunately, his parents had to move for work related reasons. So he moved up to Washington, I believe. It was either Washington or Oregon. And obviously, because
Mm-hmm.
we were still together, we decided to do long distance because I knew that his family will always travel down here to visit.
Yeah.
So, I trusted him full heartedly. I knew it was going to be challenging, but at the same time, I didn't really have any trust issues because I was like, you know what? We really liked each other. We've known each other ever since we were kids. So it was never an issue.
So were you
But
adults at this point or
I want to say this was high school.
okay.
Yeah, this was high school. So unfortunately, 3 years in, he cheated on me with a very distant cousin that I did not know of.
What?
Yeah, very distant down the line. I don't
Oh
even know how
no.
we're related. I don't even know how we're related. Asian bloodline. We don't know. We don't know.
No, you said it was a 6 year relationship,
Yeah.
but that was 3 years in.
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
Yep. So, um, young naive me took him back because young and naive, right? You would think that people can change. This is your first ever relationship. You're just like,
Yeah.
you don't know.
How'd you find out though? If it's LDR?
My mom. My mom was the one that told me.
Wait
Because
a minute.
because
Okay.
because the thing is, our parents didn't know of our relationship. Our parents didn't know of our relationship, so everything was hidden. So obviously, when his mom posted on social that he got a girlfriend, quote unquote girlfriend, my mom showed me. She goes, "Oh, did you know Lawrence got a girlfriend?" Oh yeah, I name dropped. Lawrence got a girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not on Twitch. I know
Cool,
where
cool.
he's off in his life, so he's not on Twitch.
Uh huh.
So I don't care. I'm gonna name drop his ass. But yeah, no. My mom was like, "Did you know Lawrence is dating this girl, or dating her so and so's or daughter?" And I was like, "What?"
Oh my
So
god.
she was the one that told me.
Found out
I'm
for
not
your
even. I wish
mom
I was bullshitting this.
in a
I wish I was
secret
bullshitting.
relationship too.
Yeah. So she showed me, and I was like, obviously, I'm pretty sure that's how he found out. Is because like, oh yeah, I posted on Facebook. Yeah, so my dumbass, young and naive, still took him back because I was like, oh, he can change. We're the love of each other's lives, blah, blah, blah. Right? And then, when he came down to visit, I had the intentions of breaking up, but young, stupid me was like, oh no, like, he's really begging. He's gonna turn around,
Oh, first love.
whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I took his ass back. And then by senior year, obviously, we thought we were gonna go to each other's proms. Finds out he asked this girl, that he went to school with while he was in Seattle, and obviously he didn't tell me. I found out through his mom's social media.
Dude, what the fuck? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and so I was like, bro, I'm done. So I ended the 6 I waited until his ass was literally back here,
Uh huh.
and then I told him, I am officially done with you. I'm moving on. I can't stand you. You're a disgusting human being. That whole whatever.
After the second time,
Obviously,
yeah.
yeah. And obviously he still tried to do the um no, you're the love of my life. Like it was a mistake, but I wanted to go to your prom, but you weren't even planning on going to prom anyways, blah blah blah, trying to make himself the kind of the victim. And I was like, oh hell no. So there's that one.
That was the first one.
That's the first one.
Wow, 6 years for the first one.
6 years, yeah. Still somewhat messes me up in the head every once in a while because unfortunately, because his parents and my parents are still really good friends.
Okay, I was
I
gonna
see
ask you
his
that.
ass
All
pretty
right.
often. Yeah, I still see his ass pretty often, but now he's a
Oof.
loser, so I don't care.
Okay. Wow. Character development. Mm.
Oh, in the opposite
I
direction.
know, I know.
But my other ones, honestly, long story short, all cheated.
Whoa.
Even if it's because it was a 2 year, then a 3 year, all cheated in the end.
My god, even in long relationships, like lengthy ones.
Yeah, and I know a lot of these girls, or a lot of girls in general, or people in general, they say like, "What, men ain't shit," and I was like, you can't group all of them into the same category.
Mm-hmm.
Some are, some aren't. So I took into consideration all of that, but look where it got me. Cheated on.
So that was like a fast forward of like these relationships you've been in.
Yeah. All of them except for JP.
Mm.
All of them
I
except
don't
for
know if you
JP.
want to go into that one.
For that one, well, he knows because we've had multiple conversations about it afterwards, but I honestly just lost feelings.
Uh-huh.
I was in one of those phases where I didn't know this is what I wanted,
Yeah.
and obviously I was kind of past it, but he wasn't at the time. But what could he do? Because I
Mm-hmm.
already made up my mind. But I kind of realized that later, um, that we're kind of better off as best friends. We are we are just better off as friends.
Was this all settled before moving in?
No, this was settled during or like
Oh.
a little bit after he moved in.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we still love each other unconditionally, but not on the romantic aspect of it, but more also on the friendship aspect, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he's stuck with me for the rest of his life. I don't care what he says.
He said the same thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know he did. That's why I brought it up.
Okay, so these were all like relationships and stuff. Does that include the recent one you were talking about?
The reason one won't give me the light of day to be in a relationship. He treats me like we're in one, like we're in a relationship. But unfortunately, he won't give me the title. If that makes sense.
Oh, so it's almost like a long talking stage or like a situationship.
It's definitely a situationship,
Damn.
and he knows. He's aware of my feelings.
Yeah.
He and the thing is, he will go out of his way for me. He'll do basically boyfriend material, but he won't give me that title. And as much as I want to keep pursuing it, maybe over time that things change. It won't change. He's that stubborn. That
So is that like over with now or what then?
No, because I with it we it's hard to get rid of or let go of someone you talk to every single day
Yeah.
since April of last year.
April of
With,
last year. Wow.
yeah. Without a fail, we have talked every single day. We've also gamed almost every single night.
Mhm.
We're in VC almost every single night. So we spend a lot of our time with each other, but he won't put a label on it. And
Dang.
he tells me is that he can't see past the fights that we've had. And our fights are always about the same thing, where he will double book on me by accident. And the biggest one was unfortunately on my birthday.
Holy shit. And you're going and you're still stuck with it?
Unfortunately.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I I wear my heart on my sleeve. I give
Yeah.
too many chances, unfortunately, that shouldn't be given. But parts of me holds on to the fact that, you know, something will change over time. Things might change. Maybe I'll have that chance. But I'm pretty sure he's pretty adamant about it never going anywhere. Yet he still treats me like I'm his girl.
Oh my god, Emmy.
I know. Because like legitimately, if he notices or if I'm texting, right, and it sounds a little bit off, he'll ask me straight up, "What's wrong?" If I don't reply to him within, I don't know, 6 hours, 12 hours, whatever it might be, he'll ask me, "What's going on in your head?" He'll ask these things that my previous relationships have never asked. He does things for me that my previous relationships have never has done. I have those really bad, ugly days, but he will put in his full effort to make sure my day gets a little bit better. Ah, it's annoying.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Shit. I feel like
relationships are
it's
bad.
like what you mentioned earlier. It's something you just have to figure out and experience yourself and go through with it, right? No matter
Mhm.
what anyone tells you. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure you know what people are thinking or what they would say, but they're
Oh
not the
yeah.
ones in the situation. So uh,
Yeah. Like Mish knows full details about him. She's met him. I
yeah.
think you have briefly met him.
Oh, him. Okay. Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, you have briefly met him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, you get to the point where you're like, you think it's you, and like, what is it that you need to change? So I've had those days where I'm like, what do I need to do better? How do I need to change? And stuff like that. But I'm like, this is who I am. If you can't love me for who I am, then I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're just trying to fully win him over.
And no matter what I do, it's to the point where I tell you, because I have a connection at NZXT, I got him a fucking computer case for his
Oh.
birthday. Ah, I've tried. I put in my full best effort,
Uh-huh.
and it's going nowhere. It stays in the same spot. And you know what the fucked up thing too is? I think his mom influences his
Decision making.
decision making, because I don't know how this is a thing. She's a Vietnamese person that does not like other Viets.
Okay.
And I'm just like, what? Like, I get it. There's some shady people out there. There's some people who, use them for their own benefit, but like, you can group everyone into the same category.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We've had way too many conversations about this. Buns.
Dang. So you're just gonna have to figure it out. Honestly, I don't know how much you're gonna put yourself through. I don't know like how long you're gonna go on with this, but it's been a long time already.
Yeah, it's been a long
Every
time.
day.
Every day. And honestly, I'm to where like, and the shitty part is that even though the best course of action for us is to stop talking completely, like cut off our friendship, neither of us want that.
So you
Because
know it in your head that it's the best option. Like you admit that.
I mean, I don't want it, but sometimes I feel like it's the best option because I'm so
Uh huh.
hung on it. Like I've tried talking to other people. I've tried, you know, at social events. I tried talking. I honestly don't even give certain people light of day anymore, or
Mm-hmm.
even a try, because everything I do, I can kind of compare it back to him.
And would you say
Which
you're like, are you dependent on him for happiness in any way?
certain parts, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that for a fact. It's because in this conversation I had with my mom on Saturday, I was telling her, I have a good friend. I have a really good group of friends. I have, my career going. I have a good family life. I wish there was someone I can share this happiness with. So it's like, you know, I I don't want to brag, but I have almost everything I want in life.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I had someone to share that with. And unfortunately, he brings out my inner child that I've lost since I was 12.
Yeah.
So, and he has handled most of my episodes um pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, wow, I have really found my person. There's a lot of the things I like about him. The things I don't, it's things that can change. Things that with over time, it's just growth.
Yeah, not deal breakers.
Yeah, not deal breakers. The only deal breaker is his mom not liking me because I'm a kid, but we get past that.
So like this title is very important to you then, right? Because you
It would
said
make
it feels
me,
like a
yeah,
relationship, and he's not like talking to anyone else, right? Is it exclusive?
no. He's literally not talking to anyone else. He's not even attempting to talk to anyone else, or that I know of. I
Yeah.
have to say that, or that I know of.
Okay.
But to me, it's just like, sure, we're in this situationship that we have, but a title would make me more secure, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say that too.
Because
Secure.
yeah, because now I'm kind of, because even with the situationship title, I'm in a limbo.
Mm-hmm.
So if for example he were to give that title to me, it would just make me more secure about what our relationship and where I stand. Because truth be honest, I don't really fully care about the title. I just want to know what we are.
And that question's been avoided.
It hasn't really been avoided. It's more so that he just can't see past the
Oh, the
arguments that we
arguments.
have.
Okay.
And it sucks, you know. Dating sucks.
Do you guys go on dates too?
Yeah, we used to hang out weekly
Oh, okay.
because he lives about 40-ish minutes away. So we can't see each other that often because of the distance. But he used to make the effort because I can't go over his house.
Yeah.
So he usually just comes down to me over here, and it used to be pretty often. So it was like once a week. But it's not lately because of all the fights and these conversations we've been having about what our relationship is. It's dwindled down to maybe like even once a month. But
Hmm.
yet we still talk every single day, texting
Yes.
or Discord call. Regardless, we still game pretty often. So that's the fun part, the shitty part, but fun part.
Got it. Wow. So this
Yeah,
is gonna be an ongoing thing. It's what it seems like. So.
yeah. And then even if like I've had so many people telling me, why are you doing this to yourself? You know where you stand.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing all this stuff for you, so why can't you? Even though he's doing all this stuff for you, he's not willing to move forward with you. Why are you putting yourself in that hole? And every time it comes down to you. I found my person. I found someone who I want to be with, who makes me happy, but not for materialistic things, just not for feeling. He brings out a side of me that I haven't seen in a really long time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm so hung up on it.
Yeah. Plus, you've been taking a lot of time trying to like discover yourself and learn more about yourself.
Yeah,
So if you could admit that and openly say that, then yeah, I see why it's important.
yeah. And there are times where I feel like he's swaying a little bit.
Towards
So
that
that
direction.
towards that direction. So it like gives me a little bit of hope
Hope. Mm-hmm.
until somehow the conversation gets brought back up and then the hope is all gone again. but it's a back and forth game between it. So it's like always good until it goes back. And it's been a constant thing.
Like, although it's a situationship, like, which is always messy, right?
Yeah.
At least, I guess, like, you have to try to look at the bright side of things since you're putting yourself in that situation where at least he's not talking to anyone, he's treating you right and everything. It's just
Hmm.
that title. I hope you'll, figure things out and have like a happy ending at least.
We've actually talked about it because I have told him the moment he even mentions talking to someone else, he's bye bye gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have told him straight up, as much as I care for you and I want to be in your life, even as friends and stuff like that, I don't know if I can watch my person fall in love with someone else.
Hmm.
So it's like the moment he has brings up, oh, I'm talking to someone else or I'm interested in someone else, I'm bye bye gone from
That's
his
when
life.
you could finally draw the line for yourself.
Yeah, unfortunately, because he gives me these little bits of hope,
Hmm.
and it seems so reasonable, so right, but in the end, I know it's never gonna be there. And even though I know, and I know I shouldn't be doing this to myself, it just happens. It still happens because unfortunately, it takes me a while to move on from someone who brings out that inner me that I've
That much.
tucked
Hmm.
away for so long.
Dang. Until the next update, honestly, I don't even know how else to go about that. As long as you know what you're doing, and you feel like you could really get through it, then I'm hopeful because it would suck, just to see you kind of like fluctuate like your mood and everything because of this. But I feel like that's a given with this
Yeah,
situationship. So
it's 100% given,
okay.
unfortunately. But it's kind of it is what it is. Um, there's not really much I can do about it, but just continue to try, even though I know it's probably not gonna go anywhere.
Okay,
And
so go ahead.
and the thing is, oh sorry,
No, you finish.
oh, and the thing is like we're not getting any younger, so it's like I'm not wanting to date around just to date around. I had unfortunately, as kids we get into this mindset because it was ingrained into us as a child. You want to be married and have kids, have that future life. And unfortunately, that was so ingrained into me that that's what I wanted by a certain time frame. And I know like even with society and how things have changed, it's still something I want. I know that it can happen later on in life,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a certain goal of mine by the time I was 30.
Ooh, okay.
So it was a certain goal, and unfortunately, I reached 30 and I'm still here.
Like you said, ninth or 10th time hitting 21. So we could just go to
Right?
that mindset.
For reals. That's gonna be this year.
Oh man. Okay. So with everything you're going through right now and what you've experienced in regards to dating,
Mhm.
what dating advice would you give to others? Just general advice.
Uh, Follow your gut and don't settle for people who are not equal or greater than you. Don't settle for the bare minimum, but also know your worth. I say all that, but I where am I?
Well, yours is different because you said he's basically the one.
Yeah, I know.
And there's just, yeah. Okay.
We can't take our own advices sometimes,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I see that. I
We
see
can
that.
dish it out really well, but we can never take our own advice.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well,
trust your gut instinct.
Trust your gut, guys. Trust your gut. Okay, so I'm gonna move on a little bit here. You talked about how you pretty much have everything that you want in life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as of now, like, what goals are you setting for yourself, short term and long term?
Short term. Well, short term is the international position that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so
It's
traveling
kind of
too with that.
traveling. And living my best life. But long term wise, it's obviously I want a family.
Mm-hmm.
I want a family, and I also want to make sure that my mom can retire comfortably. She's given me everything,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure that she's comfortable. And I want to retire by the time I'm 40.
Okay.
But we all know that ain't gonna happen.
Well, it could. Maybe something will come up for you, like job opportunities or anything. So.
Only if I win a lottery, maybe. But if I win the lottery, we're all going to a private island. Someone clip that. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, okay. I hope it'll be fun. Grandma insurance.
Survivor,
Yeah,
Survivor
yeah.
game.
All right, so
But
some
honestly, I
goals.
don't. I mean, I feel like my long-term goals are pretty basic.
Yeah.
They're not anything crazy. Obviously, I want a house in the future. I want to be stable to where I'm not living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, granted, right now I'm not, but I live in that broke mentality, so I don't spend money.
Yeah. Okay.
And then all the housemates try to gaslight me. Doesn't work.
Gaslight you to.
Do certain things, and I'm like, you can try, but it's not gonna work. I'm stubborn.
Oh, like to get you to go out.
Yeah, like to a certain events, I'm like, no, grandma's old.
Okay, okay.
I'm like, grandma's old. Grandma ain't leaving her bed.
So the only way to
But
get you is food.
no, hot Cheetos maybe, but no.
Okay.
Yeah, but the basic goals is retire early, be financially comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
travel a lot more, be happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have any like crazy goals.
It's okay. It's nice to hear though, even if it's like what other people may like share. So
Yeah.
for kids, how many kids would you like? And if there's multiple, like what order would you have them?
Well, with a certain health condition I have, I'd be lucky just to have one.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't mind sharing the story. It's basically I only have half of a fallopian tube. Women are supposed to have two. One
Uh-huh.
side was sealed off because it was damaged by an ovarian cyst, and the other side I had another ovarian cyst. The way that it was, and I had to get it surgically removed, and
Mm-hmm.
the way it was sitting on the tube, the doctor or the surgeon had to cut into a little bit of it, so I literally only have half of a tube. So, according to them, pregnancy could be dangerous for me if the egg could not fully travel through the tube.
Yeah.
So, my chances were reduced to 10% when I was 18. So, I've had to get into terms with the chances of kids aren't being possible
Uh-huh.
at the age of 18. So, I'm happy with just if I can just have one, but ideally I would like two or three.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what order, but I want preferably a boy just because mama's boy.
Yeah.
But ideally two or three.
So it was 10% at 18, so that's how you're gonna take it right now too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've gone to the doctors and I've asked, okay, if I wanted to start a family, what are my chances still with
Mm-hmm.
all the health condition problems? And he said, unfortunately, unless you really do IVF, where, transplant of the embryo, 10%
Oh,
naturally.
okay.
and IVF is expensive.
Jeez.
Yep. So, obviously being told that over 10 years ago, you kind of have to come to terms with your condition.
Yeah, in life, stay in life.
Yeah.
Got it.
It didn't hit me hard at that time because you're
You're
18.
young. Yeah.
You're young. You're like, I don't want to start a family just yet. But the older you get, and as much as I try to hide it, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to have kids. I want to have kids I can return at the end of the night. Ultimately, in the end, I do want to start a family.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I do it alone or not is a different story. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. And what are Valorant tacos, by the way?
Oh my god.
Did you get it?
If I remember this correctly, it was if I was able to clutch around.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think it might have been Dennis would buy me tacos, and I don't know if that was the one.
Okay.
That's the only one I remember. Or someone was supposed to buy me tacos if I clutched around. I didn't clutch around, but they'll say they'll buy me tacos anyways.
Anyways. Oh, okay. This was a while back then.
Yeah, it was a while back. I don't remember it.
Got it. All right. Let's transition into some another hobby of ours. Maybe something you don't do as often anymore, but totally could. The EDM scene. Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
lord.
what's your history of it? Like how were you introduced and what's your mindset on it as of now?
I think Clarity by Zed was what introduced me to the EDM scene. I remember listening to it and I was like, oh, I really like the lyrics. But even though it was a sad song, or not like a sad song, but it was still very upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember really liking him. And then it
Zed.
was during
Okay.
the time where I was working at Disney, and you meet all walks of life there. And I had a friend, he heard me listening to uh, Zed. Um, so he was like, "Oh, you should try listening to XYZ." And then, we with all the shifts that we worked together, he would be playing these music, but sometimes it was just us or like a few other people. So he'd be playing these music, and I'm like, "Oh, I really like this." And then he goes, "Oh, if you like it, then you should try going out to one of these events." And so in 2014, I went to Escape with him.
That was your first one, Escape 2014?
Escape 2014. So that's why Escape will always be one of my favorite events.
Oh, okay.
And, the more, obviously, you're like, oh my God, these events are so crazy. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And so when I first went to this event, I was like, holy shit, it's so crazy, but everyone is so nice. Everyone is so nice. They're always here for each other.
Mm-hmm.
The music is bumping. You can vibe with everyone so easily. And the thing is, I barely knew any artists. I
Yeah.
barely knew
So you just went with your
anyone.
friends like to whatever.
And then they're telling me, oh, like we'll go here to listen to this person, then we'll go here to listen to this person, and it, honestly, that's how my EDM addiction began.
Nice. Okay. So
Mhm.
through all the events, what's your favorite and most memorable event?
Oh, easy, just because of William or Will.
Okay.
Escape 22. Escape 22.
Escape 22. Uh-huh. What happened?
I think I have posted this video so many times, but it was when he was rolling so hard and he was peaking. And it was during, I forgot who was playing, but they played every time we touched.
Okay.
And he was just like in his glasses, his little glasses thing, in his little tropical outfit, and he was just like chewing his gum and just mouthing it and bobbing off. I can't. That
I
video is
can
so
imagine
funny.
that.
Yeah, so he was like mouthing it, but also peeking at the same time. But it was also the time after I met Twitch people. So, in 22 is when I met more Twitch people because it's also after TwitchCon.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
So The thing is, when I went to these events before, I've never really had set groups or my friends back then weren't really into it, or
But
the friends I had back then weren't into EDM.
mhm.
So I never really had people to go with. There was times where I've just soloed it, but soloing it could be fun
Yeah,
because you get to meet people. But it's always nice to have that one group
home
or
base.
home base that you go with.
Yep.
And so after TwitchCon and after meeting everybody, you find out, oh, a lot of these people are into EDM. So I'm going to go because now I actually have people that I'm friends with that like EDM and are willing to go or are going.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first event after meeting everyone from Twitch that I was like, okay, I can see myself going to these events again because I have people who I know that are willing to go.
Yeah. So you had Will.
And I would think I was with Wills, Giles, and Amber.
Oh,
And then
okay.
obviously they have a couple friends that they were with too.
Yeah, yeah.
So we all kind of just like grouped. And then I think I ran into Pat and Mango.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pat, Mango. I don't know.
'Cause
I might be
they're
confusing the
definitely
events.
they were definitely going around that time, and then like eventually that year, I remember seeing you at Countdown.
Yeah, when it countdown. Rain Down was not that much fun, but
Rain
still
down,
good
yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
I still have somewhat of a bruise marking left from when Smokes uh slipped and landed on my toe.
Oh shit! I wonder if he would
Yeah.
remember that. You think he would?
Nope.
You didn't wait. Did he know at the time?
I don't think he did.
Oh,
Oh, I think he knew he slipped, but I don't think he knew he landed on my toe.
oh, like he caught himself type of thing, or did he like straight fall?
He didn't straight fall, but I think we caught him.
Okay, and then he just like stepped on you.
Yeah.
Ah, shoot. Okay, I'll let him know. I'll remind him.
So it's all good. But yeah, honestly, Countdown was a lot of fun too, except for the rain.
Did you end up staying for the whole thing?
Well, I only went day one or day two. I only went one day.
Yeah, I recall only seeing it for one day, but that was like early on.
I don't think I stayed until like it closed.
Uh huh.
I think after Slander we left, or I left.
I think Slander was the last one though, because they had the or was it the back to back first? I forgot. It was one or the
No, it
other.
was Slander and then the
Oh,
back to
okay,
back.
okay, okay.
And I remember I left during the back to back because I was like, I'm already sick, and I have, because I remember that day I worked the half day too. So I worked in the morning, got home. Um, yeah, worked in the morning, got home, got ready, and then bust my ass there. Cause I got there, I drove myself.
Hmm.
So I remember going there, and then I think I was meeting up with Will. Can't remember. I met up with Will, and then I went from there.
Have we been to events together since Countdown, or like met up at any event? I'm having trouble remembering.
I only think, okay, we went to Slander. I know that, but I did meet up with you guys, but kind of ditched the group to go hang out with my so called wife.
Your wife?
Yeah, she's one of my best friends from high school, or
Uh
not high
huh.
school, college. We call each other wifey, so I just call her my wife. But I remember I went to you guys, or I was with the group at first.
We're talking about day one.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because then I remember I was with you guys for a little bit, and then ditching. She was going to be my wife because
Okay.
I told myself I was going to come back, but making my way through that crowd was like,
No,
oh
it got
no,
it got crowded.
no,
It got
it
crowded
got
for sure.
crowded. So I just stayed with her the entire
Hmm.
time.
Dang, you've been to only like a handful. Like you're just very selective, right?
Yeah, I'm a little more selective now because let's be real, it's a lot of money.
A lot of
I don't know
money, energy. Yeah,
energy. I don't know how you do it. I just have no time.
it's
But the
because
thing
you
is
let
I
me
also
save money.
true, but it also because I work on the weekends too, because I get a premium for working on the weekends.
Sick.
So that's also a deterrent. Granted, my boss keeps telling me to take PTO because I'm almost capped out.
Yeah. Wait, what's your next event, or what do you have lined up then?
Just beyond.
That's the only event you have.
Yeah, because originally it was going to be EDC,
Uh huh.
but then I don't want to take EDC off and then like 2 weeks later take another week off because of going to NorCal. So I kind of got selective
Oh,
of it
because
because
the
I was like,
wedding
you know
thing.
what?
Uh huh.
Yeah, because the wedding thing. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather spend time with my friends in person
Yeah.
and not at an event because and stuff like that.
True.
But
There's.
yeah, but we'll see. I might end up doing both, but at the this at like right now, it's looking to be just beyond and probably escape.
Both days of Beyond?
Yeah, both ages of beyond.
Okay.
I did that whole week off. So yes, I'm trying to go to beyond, and then I think after that maybe escape. Just because it's so close to my birthday, I kind of end up using that as like a birthday present to myself. Cause I never
Yeah.
do anything.
Plus, you like Escape, right? So it has
Yeah,
meaning.
cause my first ever rave. So that's probably the only two events I have. Unless there's also Countdown, but depending on the lineup, I've been a little bit more selective, as you had mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when like smaller events, maybe I'll go, but they tend to be after work, so I'm like, do I really want to go and then die the next day at work? Granted, I have, but
Plus the
that is always
mission.
bad, right?
Yeah, yeah. How's your body been feeling every time you go to an event?
Like that's a question. I need at least 2 days to recover. Grandma's too old for this.
Got it. That's why you take like the whole week off for these events.
Yeah, or at least like I need a day after
Yeah.
because I haven't done a back-to-back event like that since maybe
Uh-huh.
Escape that 1 year. So
Okay.
yeah, but with everything that's going on, I just been trying to make sure that I'm putting time for myself. So by going to these events, because I've always enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of pushed it off to the side a little bit because of everything that was going on. But I'm telling myself, I'm like, you know, you're not getting any younger, bitch. You need to do something that makes you happy. You need to do whatever you need to do. So going to these events is has always been fun. I've never had a bad experience.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything that happens, I've never had a bad experience. So
It's
I was like,
good.
you know what? I'm gonna put myself back into that scene and start going again.
What kind of raver would you describe yourself as?
Oh, easily. Rave mom.
Okay, so you just, for the most part, you're just taking care of people, just chilling.
Yeah. I tend to gravitate to just being the rave mom, like making sure everyone's good, everyone's having a good time. Do you need gum? Do you need water? Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
It's getting too hot, let's fan you, stuff like that. It's like my natural instinct, regardless of even if I'm at a rave or not.
Uh huh.
So I just tend to gravitate it more. And also being, veteran ravers, we tend just to make sure everyone's having a good time.
So, how much energy do you use at these raves, and do you feel like you're very social, where you could just like talk to other
I
people?
No, I'm shy. I
Okay.
tend to stick to my okay, nowadays I'm a little bit more shy. Tend to stick to my own group a little bit
Yeah,
more.
just the group. Got it.
But sometimes when you're next to another group or you're next to other people,
Uh
and
huh.
you're vibing, you're like headbanging, you're raging, whatever it may be, and you're like, oh yeah, let's go, you know. And then that's when I'll like socialize. Or if someone else brings other people in the group, I'm like, oh wait, what's up? You know, do you need water? You need gum, Vicks? What do you
Mm-hmm.
need? I got you.
Does the influence of like alcohol and other stuff help,
So,
or what does that transform you into?
um, I've kind of stopped rolling just because I just tend to be the rave mom a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I could still take care of people even when I'm rolling, but sometimes there's just that one thing that would just kill the buzz. So I half the time, and the thing is, I'm usually the driver. I'm usually the DD.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, gotta be responsible. So I kind of diverted from the Well, the thing is, I don't drink. I don't really drink. I hate the taste of alcohol, and I hate the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So I tend to avert, not do anymore. But there's some events where you kind of like slander. I dirty rolled. Let's be real. I dirty rolled, and I still drove, and I was perfectly fine because I took it early on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just more so like I'll sometimes participate in the festivities, but I honestly think it's kind of like I can still have fun without it. I don't need it.
That's good.
So, but the thing is, usually when I'm taking it, I'm like mellowed out. I'm just like swaying back and forth, taking in whatever is around. But I don't go crazy like some of these people do.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just watching the come down from this house, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I
The house. Will.
chill.
Oh, wait.
They
Chill.
have pretty bad ones,
Mhm.
honestly. And I'm over here like, I'm good. I'm like, next day, oh, I'm back at work or whatever. I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what they're dealing with, but I'm just like, I'm
They're
perfectly
going.
fine.
They're dealing with their demons. Clearly.
For real.
Yeah. After.
And it's like, I know, I'm like, you guys do it more, like, so much more than me. Why are you having such bad come downs? I'm like, what is going on? Because I've done it, and then next day, I went to work perfectly fine.
Uh huh.
So I'm just like, what did y'all, you bitch ass, weak ass bitches?
So have you accepted the name for the house as Rave House?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts
Because
about it?
we're all headbangers regardless. Like, I went from a lot of house
Uh huh.
to, I started to notice that at the events, I'm more of a headbanger.
So who do you like, or which artist?
My top four never changes, but I don't have like a numbering order for them.
Okay.
So obviously, it's always Griffin, Slander, Millennium, Dabin.
Nice.
Those are always my top four, regardless. But I've started to, obviously you branch out, you listen to more.
Yeah.
But my top four will always be the top four.
Those. Mm-hmm.
Like no matter how much I get into like Subtronics, BTSM, Excision, stuff like that,
Yeah.
they still remain my
Those
core
four.
four.
That's a
Yeah.
fire core four. That's like
Yeah.
I'd probably agree with that, honestly.
There was one that I kind of like am wanting to put in my top five, but he hasn't put out much music, which is Porter.
Okay, Porter.
Yeah. I love Porter. I love all his music, but he hasn't really been putting out too much. So that's why I'm a little iffy about putting him into my tops. But I love his music regardless.
Is there any artist that you haven't seen yet that you want to?
Um, Recently it's been okay. I was about to go, but I didn't go. It was Noctu and ISO.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at the shrine?
Yeah, I really wanted to go because that looked like such a good show.
For real.
But work got in the way. It's always work related.
So ISO knock. Okay. Anyone else?
Mhm.
That's
Um,
Buns. Rabbit.
Yeah, that's buns. That's buns. I'm honestly, actually, I've never seen Porter in person.
Oh.
I was gonna go to Second Sky, but I didn't end up going. But honestly, I've seen everybody else at least once,
Yeah. At least you'll
and they
see some of your
always,
top
yeah,
and beyond.
yeah, because Slander's there.
Yeah.
Slander and Dabin, I believe, are there.
Where are you going with?
As of now, Cherry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
I
wait, she
know we'll
mentioned
meet
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all know we're gonna meet up, and then
Sounds good.
I possibly might side quest because I'm like, I'm just gonna
Yeah. Do you.
do me.
Do whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, so since you've experienced so much all these years, right? How would
Mhm.
you describe it to someone who's never raved before? Like the beauty of it. Like, what advice would you also give to them if they were to go for their first time?
I guess I live in that moment because I went into, my first event not knowing anything. I like barely knew anything. I only knew Zed at the time. Just live in that moment and have a good time. Because once you go back, or because once you go, you never go back, or you always go back. It's such an addicting experience that, like, for example, I am trying to convince a friend of mine who I recently met to go because he's been getting into EDM. He's been liking the music, and I was like, hey, why don't you try Beyond one day? Just go one day first, and then you go from there. And so
Yeah.
he's considering it. Like he's highly considering it. And then he goes, "Oh,
Ooh.
what day is better?" And I was like, personally, I like Saturday's lineup, but both days are good. So honestly, in the end, it comes down to you. And I'm telling you, do go with an open mind and just live your best life. Enjoy and soak up all the experience and just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shit can go wrong. Something always just, you know,
Happens. Yeah.
happens, but we got to live our best lives and just go.
No, I
Okay, we
love that.
ball. Full send it.
If you have the funds
Full.
and responsibly.
Yeah, be responsible. Unless you're with the right group of friends, then you can be a little bit irresponsible.
Do you have any pet peeves when it comes to going to events, or just like people at events?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. I guess it's just rude. People being rude, but that's kind of like normal.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to vibe. You're just trying to listen to the music, have a good time, and if someone kills your mood, they kill your mood. I'm just like, bro. I'm trying. I spent like what $200-300 to be here, and you're killing my vibe. Oh hell no! Get out of my face! No I'm kidding. Because unfortunately, I think we've all noticed where EDM is becoming a lot more mainstream.
True.
So a
Yes.
lot of people, they're not really even there anymore for the music. They're there for the drugs and to see they can pull people.
Mm,
Unfortunately, and I started to notice that. So maybe that's a pet peeve.
okay.
But overall, I'm just like, just don't kill my vibe. I'm trying to have a good time. I just paid $300 to be here. Don't do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
Time is money.
True. All facts. And speaking of pulling, so the next question is, please explain what is a rave bay and how do you get one?
I've never had one. You can't ask me this. That's questions you ask Chill and Will.
Damn, call him out. Okay.
Ask everybody else. I have never had a raid bay. I'm not interested, not really, because I'm here for a good time. I like if I can pull somebody, that'd be great. But honestly, I'm trying to get my money's worth at these events. I'm not really trying to catch a raid bay, but I guess it's someone who just end up being your temporary rent a girlfriend, boyfriend for the night.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of it. Usually my rape bays are my girls,
Okay.
unless it's Will choking me. Cause
Wait, what?
have I told you? No, I'm pretty sure you know this story.
Go for it.
Where freaking, I think we were at Midas in LA, and we were at Midas in LA, and it was me, Will, Chill, and Omami, and then I believe one of their friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Will was rolling balls deep in whatever he was taking, and it was during one of the songs where he was just like, I just want someone to hold, right? So he puts his arm around me, but then he turns to talk to freaking somebody else, and he pulls me
Pulls
with
you.
him.
Oh man, in a
And I'm in
chokehold.
a chokehold because obviously he's taller than me. So he literally has his arm around me, and I'm just like, I can't.
Oh no.
So if you want rape based stories, you ask or how to pull one.
No, don't worry.
I don't.
I ask everyone this question, so your thoughts of what it
I
is and
don't know how to
how.
pull. I don't know how to pull. I'm just here to get my money's worth and listen to music that I enjoy.
Did he owe you one after he choked you like that?
No,
Oh.
I I don't let him live it down. That's what I do.
And are you the type of person that likes going to the rails, or which spot do you
I have
like?
never gone to the rails because I think it's a little too chaotic for me. I'm more of like I'm okay with middle or even the back
Yeah.
because I want to be able to see the stage, see the lasers, whatever, and I don't want to get killed in the front.
Okay,
um,
so I assume you wouldn't do mosh pits unless
oh
thoughts.
hell no! Oh
Okay.
hell no!
No mosh pits, no rails.
Okay, also listen,
Uh
I'm a little bit of a bitch, so I don't like pain because I feel like mosh pits it's like a death trap sometimes.
yeah.
They're scary. So I'm just like, I'm good. People are like shoving, elbowing each other. I'm good. I bruise easily.
Uh-huh.
So I'm good. I'm just here to vibe. I'm just trying to, here. I'm just here.
Dude, some
If you
people
guys
go crazy at mosh pits and fight.
if you want a mosh pit, you mosh pit.
Mhm.
I'll be here to give you a band-aid or whatever, but no, I'm good.
After.
I'm gonna stay over here. I'm gonna stay over here.
At your own expense.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, if you wanna die, be my guest. I'm just gonna be over here.
Little extreme, but yeah, don't worry, guys. The goal is not to die in mosh pits.
For real. Or try not to get a black eye. I've seen it happen, and I'm just like, I'm good.
Oh yeah, I've seen so much shit happen. People get overly aggressive, start swinging on each other. Dude
Yeah.
got knocked out at Zombieland. I saw. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm just like, as someone who does not enjoy pain, and someone who bruises easily, and someone who values my life, I'm good.
Yeah. So be safe, guys. Enjoy
Be
the
safe.
experience. Be safe.
Mm-hmm. So the real question is, when is Wilson getting a rape bay?
Uh, I don't know where this question came from. So
I think that's what everyone has asked.
when I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't even know what that is.
Say I don't know what a rape bay is. Never had one. So when you find out, Wilson, or when you can let me
Okay.
know what it is, you can share your experience.
We'll share notes. We'll share notes. Make sure to
compare
write it
notes.
down. Photographic memory. Okay. All right, let's wrap things up with a few more from the EDM scene, and then just like last like questions that I may have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you shared your experiences. All right, there's a word that's almost forbidden when it comes to the EDM world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is I'm just gonna say it for this for the heck of it. It's called retirement. Yeah.
You don't ever retire.
Oh, okay. So do you live by that? Rave to the grave or what?
Yeah, raised to the grave. Because honestly, like, even I said I was gonna retire. Multiple people have said they're gonna retire. Did they ever really retire? No. Like it's called a break. You take a break,
Yeah, hiatus break.
hiatus break, whatever. You
Respectable.
don't really rate. You don't
Mhm.
really retire unless something drastic happens. But something always pulls you back. Something will always pull you back.
Or someone, people.
Wilson.
I try to convince people to go, but it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, obviously, it's gonna come down to different factors, whether it's money, time, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I still don't think people fully retire.
Hmm.
I mean, you've seen these events. You've seen older people there.
Oh
They're not.
yeah.
They're literally raving to the grave.
Yeah, they're cool as fuck too.
Exactly. So it's like why not? You don't ever officially retire unless you're maybe in a wheelchair. But people in wheelchairs still go.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Real.
nah, I don't believe in retirement.
Love
I
that.
believe in long breaks because I've had a long break. But see, you end up back. I've
Mm-hmm.
known people who took 4 or 5 year gaps, but they still end up coming back.
Yes. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
whoever says they're retiring, y'all liars.
Call him
I'm
out. Call
watching
him
you.
out. No retiring.
No retiring
And
unless you're literally in the grave.
okay, it's a little dark there, but yeah. So oh yeah, Anon, thank you so much for gifting Eunice. I appreciate you, whoever it
Thank
is. Thank you
you.
guys all for being here. Wrapping things up with a few more. Um, I think that's all I got actually for EDM. I just do want to ask you, like, what is your dream event that you haven't been to yet, or is there something that you want to check out?
Tomorrowland. I think everyone has that goal.
Why
Is to
specifically
do.
Tomorrowland?
Well, one, it's the biggest festival in the world. Two, have you seen the stages for that? It's so beautiful, so nice. And they usually have pretty fire lineups. But I know the whole scene in Europe is different than it is in the States.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've been to Ultra Japan. I've
Whoa.
been I've been to Water Bomb in Korea. And the environment is very different. All these environments are very different.
Hey, how would you describe it? I'm actually curious about that.
Oh, it's hard to explain it when you haven't experienced it, but it's the vibe and the people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how over here they can be a little aggressive, rude, whatever you may
Yes.
call it. Over there, they're always constantly just vibing, regardless. No matter who's on stage, no matter um what's going on, they're always vibing, and everyone's so nice to where you're like, "Are you even real?" Because I soloed those two.
You went across the world and soloed those raves?
Yeah, I went solo.
Where were your friends?
My friends at the time weren't into EDM. They didn't want to go to these events.
But they've gone to
Not even here, no. Like
like
they
no
go to
no no
concerts and
no they
stuff.
went with you across the world, right? At least.
Hmm.
Okay, but you just went to the events alone.
I just went to events alone
That's
because it
crazy.
just happened to be in the time where these events were going on, and I was able to get last minute tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I just soloed it, and even though there was a language barrier, because shit happens out at these events, and even though there's a language barrier, these people are so nice and so protective.
Dang, and you
They,
still had fun.
I still had a good time, if not the best time. The music's always really, I don't know why, but they feel better over there. I don't know what it is, but I've had more fun in overseas festivals than I've had it in the States.
Wait,
Granted,
even though the
Mhm.
communication wasn't there, you still had such a good time?
Yeah.
Wow. That says a
I
lot.
don't know what it I wish I can explain to you what that
Uh-huh.
feeling is, but I can't. It's just very different. Even though it's similar music, similar
Yeah.
atmosphere, it's just the vibe, the energy of these people.
Mm-hmm.
It might have just been because of the people I, went with or kind of followed in a way.
Yep.
but they were so genuinely nice.
Dang, that's so cool to hear, honestly.
It feels different. So that's why I kind of want to experience a European rave.
Tomorrowland.
So Tomorrowland is like the ultimate end goal.
2025?
But well, maybe not 25, but
Okay.
that's the ultimate goal.
Got you. And hi, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. RJ, thank you for the
Love
gifted
you,
sub to Toki.
bestie.
Welcome in, Raiders. Hope you had a great stream. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah.
Also, fuck you, hon.
Oops. Alright.
Our little banter.
So, we're moving on. Last few questions. I'm curious about it. We talked about friendships and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about how we met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like what the vibes were and stuff were like. But what was your honest first impression of me on stream and then in person?
I felt like you were the same person, honestly. There's not much of a difference. Like you're you're very sociable. I think you're more sociable in person than you are online because obviously, you're just kind of reading chat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though you have your groups of friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also like very welcoming, whether regardless if it was on stream or in person. You made sure that everyone felt included. You made sure that you at least talked to everyone at least once.
Mm.
And so I really don't think there was a difference meeting you online versus in person. I think you're more of a crackhead in person, but that's
Hold up. What do you mean by that? I appreciate what you said, but damn, I'm a crackhead.
like because you vibe off of the energy of what's going on
True.
around you in person.
Yeah.
You absorb that energy and you kind of reflect it. So that's why, obviously when you're streaming, you're at home or wherever. But when you're in person, you tend to match the energies of the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worse. So when I first met you the first time and we were there at the boba shop,
Yeah.
I felt like you matched the vibe and the energy that was going around. So you're a little bit of crackhead. And then seeing you at these events, I'm like, yeah, Wilson is a low-key crackhead.
There you go, guys. I'm evolving, but in a good way. A good crackhead.
Yeah, it's a good crackhead. It's like good vibes, good energy.
Yeah.
Stay positive,
Yeah.
Positive vibes.
There you go.
But yeah, no, that's just how you naturally come off. You kind of match the energy that's going around the room, and it's always usually a positive energy. And then the thing that too, it's like I don't think you realize how savage you can be. Cause you're like, we'll be just having a conversation and you just throw something in and I'm just like, where this come from? Where's the nice Wilson I do?
Wait, like towards you? What?
No, not towards me, but like others that I just happen to be in the room with. And you're just like, huh? Where did this come from?
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Multiple times I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like my own way of bantering. It's very low key, but it's like super effective.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like almost. Okay, you're not a quiet kid, but it's like that quiet kid who stays quiet even though everything crazy is going on, and then you say something, you're like, what? Just came out from his mouth.
I like the analysis. Thank you.
That's where it felt like, oh my god. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, so
especially
that's
when you roast like Steve.
Oh yeah, Steve's a different one. So
he's a different breed.
Yeah, he's a different breed. He literally asks for it. But that's Steve.
I love Steve, but damn. Yeah. He brings out a different side of you that we don't really see.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Call it like a bromance.
That one unhinged video.
Oh, that was during my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once in a blue moon, Once in a blue moon.
Yeah. We would like to see a little bit more of it because I think it's funny.
Okay. In due time, we'll see.
We'll see.
Do you have any questions for me, or was there something that you wanted to talk about out of curiosity?
I probably did, but grandma brain frog just like.
That's okay. just
Yeah.
making sure that we covered a lot because I'm sure we could talk about like very specific topics for a long period of time.
Mhm.
Yeah, how does it feel to know that you've talked for like almost 3 hours?
I kind of expected it to be this long or maybe longer.
Yeah,
So because like I mentioned earlier, we've never really had a one-on-one conversation. It's
true.
always in a group setting or just a quick hi bye or like, oh, it's nice to see you, blah blah blah, situation like that. So it's nice to finally just have a sit down conversation with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
I definitely want to talk about that because I feel like I'm in that situation a lot with a
Mhm.
lot of people. I feel like I'm personally cool with a lot of friends, right? Like you know,
Mhm.
and everyone else in chat. Like even like individually, it's like we could talk, but we just don't, or we haven't, right?
Yeah.
So
I think.
I think you get a read of that, and then like even in person, like for
Mhm.
me, I noticed that we don't talk, we're not as close, but
Yeah.
it's the same as you, where I don't want to like bother you,
Mhm.
because whenever I do things, I think you notice it's like always like an open invitation type of thing. So if people like come through to whatever, then we'll like hang, we'll talk. Yeah, so that's the case.
Yeah.
Especially like every time I've been down there, I know you're doing your own thing.
Yeah, and it's also because it's more so we're out. You're usually in a group setting,
Yes.
so it's hard to have like sometimes even one-on-one conversations where you know when you're in a group setting because people come in and out of the conversation or just trying to include everybody. So I think that's probably why we haven't had. Plus, like you always got something planned. It's like you're so always on the go, if that makes sense.
I try to.
Where,
It's kind of like
yeah.
you too, right? You don't like not doing anything sometimes,
Oh, I'm
right?
perfectly fine with not doing anything. Sometimes I choose not to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So like yesterday I had the whole day off. I was supposed to run my errands, get my tires changed and stuff like that.
Mhm.
What did I just decide to do? Stay in bed. Because I was like, nope. I hustled my ass all this week. I'm tired. I'm gonna give myself a day to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So I'd like to say that kind of like what you have with work, the open door policy thing. I
Mm-hmm.
have that with my friends always. Like I'm always down to talk to people whenever people could reach out, but then I wouldn't say it's hard, but I just haven't been going out of my way to have like individual conversations and stuff. Like whenever I'm out, a lot of the times it's group settings for
Yeah.
sure. Like 90% of the time, if anything. Like all these events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I definitely agree that it's one on ones has been non-existent for me.
Yeah, and then the thing is, I also feel like sometimes because they always see you out,
Mm-hmm.
it's that they don't want to bother you. That's what it is. I think a lot of us
Mm,
comes down to not wanting to disturb the other person, regardless of whether they're at home or they're out and stuff like that. And then I don't think that just goes for you. I think that it goes for
yeah,
everybody in general.
true,
It's like
true.
unless I really know what you're doing, I don't want to kind of reach out and bother someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that's my biggest struggle, and that's why like every time I even reach out to someone, I'm like sorry to bother, or I'll just send a message and hopefully they'll reply. But if not, whatever, they reply whenever they reply.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the things. Because we always let's be real, we always see you out.
True. True.
The only time
I
we really see you at home is when you're streaming.
exactly. I just feel like I want to have that balance of like streaming and being out and stuff cuz it's like fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
crackhead energy, you know? Or at least I try to.
I have a question for you,
Yes. What's up?
and I think a lot of people are like, how the hell do you have so much energy for these events? Because bro, I see you at what you did a 4-day bender, and I was like, where
Yeah.
does energy come from? I'm like done off. I checked out after day one. Like honestly, I don't even know why I decided to do 2 days of Beyond. I was like, "Oh, fuck it. But literally, how the hell do you have that much energy?
It's like a mix of things. Like the first thing is like literally I take live your best life as like a real motto, like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I literally try to go out and have things planned for myself because you never know, like when it'll be your last day, stuff like that. It's like pretty deep, but then I just always want to have something to look forward to, and I think what carries me is the dopamine, the serotonin levels of just like having the potential to meet new people, vibe with your friends, to make like everlasting memories, photos, vlogs, whatnot. So
Mhm.
just being able to do that is so fun. Plus, I think I'm I'd like to say I'm in my prime when it comes to being active because I've been like working on everything. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty used to like the wear and tear aspect, like my body being hella tired and stuff. But yeah, it's just being able to do as much as I can is like it's addicting. Kind of like how I streamed. I used to stream a lot,
Yeah.
and it's fun
That
for
type of
me
energy.
because there was always friends to talk to, like even now, and
Mhm.
the potential of meeting new people and just to like do things together. That's what carries me. Because then we also talked about earlier how it's easy to feel lonely and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the point in life where I can barely like settle and just let myself rest because I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
But it's not to the point where I'm like burning out, because if I ever get to that point, I know when to like just chill. So I feel like I'm doing okay with the sense of balance, and that's why I
Mhm.
have something almost like every week.
So would you like consider like, some of these events because, high energy environment, it's like your second gym
Kind
sometimes.
of. It is like a second gym, like cardio wise and stuff, but it's more of like the social aspects that I go for. It's too
Mm.
fun, like rallying people to go and then seeing how many people are willing to just hang out, and then again like meeting people and then introducing them to each other. It's cool. Same as Twitch.
Rallying or gaslit.
That's a part of the rallying, a combination. I don't gaslight as hard as like your roommates, all right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I
They
have
can
my
try,
I
but
have my ways. Like my way, for example, is just like being straight up, just being like, "You're going." That's it. That's the decision.
it's like I made the executive decision for
Yeah,
you. You're
yeah,
going.
exactly.
Damn.
Damn,
You
gaslighting is
guys.
I'm still new to that because of all the friends.
Oh, really? No. I think it's just something that you've hidden deep down inside that
Maybe
you're slowly unleashing it onto people.
character development.
Oh yeah, Derek. Nah, I sometimes think you're a crackhead because you have so much energy to go out and do all these things that we're like, how the hell does this man have so much energy?
Plus, I'm very conservative with my energy during like the day. Like if we're going to a festival today or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would take advantage, like sleep in the car, just rest as much as I can, and then just go all out when it's time. It's go time. It's a
You're
performance.
crazy. It's a performance. You're
Yeah.
crazy.
But I'm definitely addicted right now to the EDM scene, so that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like that before. Like
When did
my
you get
friends would.
into it?
I started listening during the same time you did, so we're talking about Zed, like
Mm-hmm.
Cruella, Vici, you know,
Oh, RP.
Calvin Harris, Alesso, yeah, all those people. But then it took like a few years for me to actually want to go to an event because I didn't like the idea of being with like, in my head it was like, oh, I don't want to be in a crowded place with like sweaty people and stuff, because I was more so introverted back then, or very
Mm-hmm.
very selective. So I started in 2016, and I only went to like very few each year, and then I stopped in like 2018, and then I got back into
Mm-hmm.
it when I met like Cherry, Umami, and Chill
Mm-hmm.
in November of 21, and then the crazy like crackhead came out in like 2023, the by the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when you started going to so many events.
Yeah, you know how you said you're at Slander, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after basically that whole time, like a week before that, since that week, I've been to an event every single week.
I think
At
everyone
least
knows
one,
that.
yeah, at least 1 to 4 events a week. So it's fun.
Crazy.
I even went to a house event. Oh my god. I went to because Drew talked about it. I was like, you know what, I'll go for the vibes. And
Damn.
whew, it was, I felt, not gonna lie, because it wasn't my favorite type of music and stuff, I
Uh-huh.
felt it. I felt the pain in my body. I felt it in my lower back during that night, but we still had a good time.
Still, oh my god, you're still a crackhead.
Yeah,
Regardless.
it's the mental. It's like it's all mental and vibes.
You're crazy. I can't. Like literally one day will knock me out.
So
Like
yeah,
I
you're going
remember
2 days
after
beyond.
I know. I can remember just coming home from Slander just knocking out like almost instantly. Oh my lord.
Slender was so fun though. That was one of my
Yes.
favorites of the year.
That was definitely the best of that year. Well, I didn't go to the many events that year, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that's the best one for me.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah.
All
So do you literally
right.
have almost a lineup or a list of events for every week this year?
It kind of, I do have like a calendar, and I tend to fill it up as like the days go on if there's an event that I'm interested in. So right now I have like a good list for the next 2 or 3 months, unless it's like a major festival or something. So I do have something within the next few weeks. Yeah, and
Damn.
it might keep going. It depends. Like if I usually
Mhm.
go if at least one person goes. I still never soloed myself. I feel like I'm
Mhm.
capable, but I don't know if I'm willing to like go because of that home base feeling, you know, to have a group to like
Yeah.
sit back on.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Another question for you.
Yeah.
Can you try to gaslight High into going to be on?
I think the major issue with High is financials. So I think he's willing to, realistically, because obviously he would be down to go with friends, and I usually drag him out anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I'm sure he would love to travel and go down with everyone, but it's definitely the financial.
So we're gonna start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, like he's been streaming. I might as well just like have him start like a dono thing.
For real. That's like I'm pretty sure a lot
Someone
of us are
someone tell High like
we'll
just fun
fund
for
them to
him.
go.
Cause I think that would be his first
Actual
major festival down there.
Mhm.
I don't even remember like if he's been to any. I don't think he's been to any like crazy big festivals like at
I've
all.
been trying to convince him. And like I'm willing to buy his ticket too, but he's not
He
gonna let me.
Oh yeah, he would feel really bad. No, 100% sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why.
Cuz like I snuck it in because it was his birthday, you know, so like I got him something for his birthday, but that would be
I mean, I still have a little less than a month, so
Okay, I'll ask
I
him
think
though. If you're still like set on being willing to buy his ticket, I'll tell him. And then he
I'm
could
pretty
travel
sure he's
down.
aware. I'm
He'll
pretty sure he's
travel down
aware.
with me and Cherry.
Yes, we're gonna gaslight into going. Actually, if we give him no choice, then he has to go.
All right, let's do this. Teamwork.
Teamwork.
I wouldn't say I would be the gaslighter, but I'll try.
No, we're just gonna be like, "Hi, your ticket's been bought. You have to go."
Oh, okay, that might work. Like just show the order number, yeah.
Yeah,
All
he has no choice. He has to. Okay.
right, what are you planning to do for the rest of the night? Got anything?
Oh, I don't. Well, I have work tomorrow, so
Yeah.
it's more so like this preparation, relaxing and whatnot. So honestly, no, I'm chilling for the rest of the night. Maybe I'll jump on and play some Power World because that's been my addiction lately. But honestly, probably nothing.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna wrap this up for the VOD and the YouTube segment, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah. Down.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching tonight's episode of Chat with Wilson, the podcast episode 8 featuring Helloemmie. Emmy, do you have any last words to say to everyone that's watching?
Full send your life. Literally just full send. Like, don't live your life in regret. I have a lot of regrets. So don't be me. Live your best life. Stay healthy, stay healthy. Drink a lot of boba.
Boba,
Live your
okay.
best life. And yeah, full send.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you guys for being here. Shout outs to Emmy once again for being on the podcast. I appreciate you, and I'm glad we were able to finally talk. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. Shout outs to the live audience here on Twitch. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I love you guys. Stay tuned for the next one. Might be next week. All right.
Subscribe or we'll come after you. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe she will. All right. Peace.